Morning, everybody. My mic on? There it is. Hi, good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right. As difficult as it is to do after an early season L like that yesterday, we'll get into that. I mean, I could honestly do 4 hours on that game yesterday. It was not, that's my, hang on. Boom. Whoa. All right. Now we're locked in. We are locked in. Morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well.
Now get your camera fixed.
Stupid technology. Oh, God. All right, here we go. Oh, all right. Now we're locked in.
You good?
Yep, I'm good.
You good?
Fantastic. Oh, there we go. All right. I'm Woodsy. It's Paul Reindl. It's our executive producer, YouTube director.
What's the director?
He's a director. Yeah, he's a director.
What's going
Hold
on?
on.
With this
Remix.
guy this morning.
What's going
I
on
gave
with
you, like,
me?
a couple.
Did you just ask what's going on with me?
I did.
I'm a touch frazzled.
I already admitted to you I'm a little frazzled and stressed and nervous about tomorrow.
Well, I am too. I'm very, very stressed about tomorrow. It's a stressful thing to host a golf tournament. Benjamin R. Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Different reasons, though. Different reasons entirely.
In completely different reasons.
Yeah, mine stems from all the stuff still left to be done to get this thing off without a hitch. And there's already hitches, so I have a feeling tonight is going to be me and my dad and probably old hillbilly Foster in my hotel room, like stuffing all the bags, the swag bags for everyone, which, was not on my bingo card, but it also, my name's on the tourney, so it's got to get done. I'm going to do it. So, like, if I have to do that, fine. That's what you do.
See, I'm not stressed about that because I know you're going to get it done.
Right, which kind of stresses me out that you're not stressed about it. Does that make sense?
I'm going to just take my time stressing about
Yes.
other things.
So what are you stressed about?
I'm stressed about a full day of, we
Glad
got
handing
400
golf
people
and
of
drinking beer.
Yeah,
and
it's so tough.
social
want to
interactions
hang out with you.
lots of tier ones, and I'm an awkward person who doesn't do well. I never know whether to fist bump, handshake, bro hug.
Hug everybody.
Everybody gets a hug.
Everybody gets a hug. It's weird in 2023 for every person you meet to just do this. Hi, how are you? And just do a normal.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Like nobody shakes hands anymore. It's so or you can fist bump everybody. There's plenty of people that we know that are germaphobes, and they'll I don't want to be rude, so they just fist bump everybody. What's up, dude? What's up, dude? I'm hugging everybody. I'm a hugger. That's just how I roll. But yeah, and listen, it's not that I don't have an aspect of social anxiety. I do. You wouldn't believe it if you know me, but the older I get, I mean, ask my wife, man, what's the word for the guy that locks himself in his room? What's that? It's
Introvert?
No, I'm not. I'm a bit of an extroverted introvert. It's true, but is it agoraphobic?
That's someone who's fear of wide open spaces.
So I have an element of that to me as well, but
do you do what I do? Like if I'm going to a party,
Yes.
On the way, I will always ask Shelly, who's going to be there that I'm supposed to know?
yeah, I do
Because
that.
I don't want to embarrass myself with the old, it's nice to meet you. We've met 6 times, Ben.
That happens
and
to
it
me
happens
still,
too
too.
often to me
It
because
does.
I'm not good at that. That's not how my memory works
It does,
on people.
and it doesn't make you a bad person. It happens to me all the time. It happened to me at Petco Park a couple times over the weekend. Guy walks up and daps me up in a familiar way. So I returned the favor and I said, "Hey, I'm Woodsy. Nice to meet you." He goes, "Dude, we hung out at the me, you, Ryan Cohen. Remember we were at the Leucadian?" And I go, "I had 75 drinks that day." When DeGrom was on them, I was drunk by the second inning. No, I don't remember this at all. And he's like, we had these life conversations. And I go, buddy, I don't remember. And it's not, it is what it is. So it's like I told you, everybody that's coming to this tournament, you'll know in some way, shape, or form.
I guess that's the thing. I feel like there's going to be about 20-25% that are brand new.
Yeah.
There's going to be 30 or 40% that I've met once or twice. There's going to be 20 or 30% that I've met many times, and I'm going to constantly be on the guard to like, okay, is this someone that I definitely should know, maybe should know, don't know at all? And it's going to be one after another all day long.
Yeah, well, if anybody's out there and you're coming, don't freak Ben out. Just come up, introduce yourself, and say hello. And
Kiss him on the lips.
He likes when you take your hand, you run it down his back, right into his butt crack. That's his favorite. Like, if you just get your hand right down in his crack, is really his sweet spot where he likes it. So, no, I mean, look, you get to play golf with a bunch of listeners that paid to come out and see you. It's going to be great. I'm not trying to diminish it because I get it too. But, we'll have get a few pops in you. Like you did on the last one. I looked over the last bed of what's open. There's our guy on one knee at the ice luge, like just chugging fireball out of an ice luge. You seemed fine that day. Get a little fireball in you or screwball or whatever you need and take the edge off. I wonder if marijuana would help you.
I know a guy.
Paulie knows a guy.
Paulie is the guy.
Paulie was the guy. I wonder if it would help you calm down.
Can we bring something tonight?
I don't know that I'm not. It's not a matter of being not calm. Look at me. I'm always.
You are fairly calm. Yeah.
It's simply just the wheels kind of churning.
I'll bring
churning
something for you
and
tonight.
churning.
I'll take care of you.
My wheels are turning. You can see smoke coming out of my ear. So I fully understand where you're coming from. But listen, tomorrow's going to be great. We're going to be broadcasting live 6 to 8. And then we're going to be out on the course with our clients in the morning. It's going to be a lot of fun. Just us driving around, very casual, very low key. Everybody's going to be cool. We'll have some food. We'll have drinks tonight. Going to be heading down there. If you want to come down and hang out, please do. I may put you to work. If you come down, I may put you to work tonight. Just know that. But yeah, have a couple beers. There's no game on tonight, so we can just sit out on the patio, have a few beers. My dad's going to be in town. I'm excited to see him. And we'll just talk shop or hang out or whatever you guys want to do. And it's going to be great. So looking forward to it. Nothing to be nervous about, Benny. We're going to get it all handled, and it's going to go off without a hitch.
I do want to shout out to, I believe her name is Jennifer, who was our server last night. I took the boys out for sushi at Encinitas Sushi Lounge.
Oh, yeah. Love that place.
And had a really good meal. And at the end, as she brought the check, she said, by the way, thank you so much for entertaining me every single morning. Big listener. And I was like, oh, you didn't even say anything. Why didn't you say anything at the beginning? And then she walked off, and I had to look in the little check that says your server was Jennifer. All right. Well, Jennifer, if that was actually your name, if you were logged in properly to the system, thank you so much. We had a really good meal last night.
Just right out of the chute. Just plug-o-laying.
Well, I did get good service. I don't know that I got anything other than good service, but it was fantastic. I had the best Arnold Palmer as well. Just the perfect mix.
Perfect blend
of Arnold Palmer to drink. I mean, I actually commented on this is how they should all be made.
This is fantastic Arnold Palmer.
Perfect.
Well, listen, we've got a lot to talk about today. Actually, should have. I thought we had 3 guests. Is it only 2?
No.
I've got 3 guests on my rundown.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, we got 3. All right. Up here, it's different. Supposed to be joined today by Alan Shipnuck from the Fire Pit Collective. Now, he's going to be live from the Masters, live from Augusta, Georgia, the Mecca for all golfers out there. Should be an interesting tournament. I think the rain is supposed to be. It really dampens it. Literally and figuratively, really dampens the spirit.
Well, I heard this morning that it's like 89 degrees today in Augusta.
Well, of course, because there's no actual golf today. It's just the par 3 tournament. Yeah. So, of course, it's 89 degrees today.
Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to rain. In the South, you can have both 89 degrees and a soaking rain at the same time. So
our next guest, 7:35. We need to have a conversation. And let's have the pre-conversation about old Uncle Ruckus, Adam Jones.
My beloved Uncle Ruckus.
By the way, is what he named himself. In a text thread to me and Paulie at 4:00 this morning. I wake up to text messages from Adam Jones sucking down margaritas at 4:00 in the morning. Now, he's in a different country. He's on the other side of the world. That being said, I want to get some things off my chest in regards to one of our favorite guests and genuinely really good.
3:30 in the morning, he texted me. It's 2:30 p.m. currently, and I'm on my 5th marg, so this will be fun. See you in 4 hours.
His 5th marg. His 5th. at 2:30 in the afternoon. So again, I want to get stuff off my chest, and I think it's important, and our audience needs to hear it. He gets loud on Twitter at times, and he got loud on Twitter last week about traveling. He did this in the World Baseball Classic. He got mad. He actually got mad at me when I bitched about, the one guy in a dead silent stadium going, blowing a horn terribly. And, you need to travel more, get more culture. I'm like, all right, well, it's one guy like blowing a horn. It's annoying. If it's a 50,000 people, it's really cool. And that happened later in the tournament, blah, blah, blah. But he's opinionated, which, by the way, is why we like having him on. Now, he's not hot takey opinionated. He doesn't come on the airwaves or Twitter and say
he didn't think Shohei versus Trout was in the World Baseball Classic was bad for the game.
Bad for the game. The guy is one of my favorite human beings because he's unfiltered. Now, he says some stuff that's a little bit out of touch. I will say that it's a little bit out of touch. He was mad that people don't travel more last week. Well, here's the deal.
Professional athletes aren't like the rest of us.
Correct.
And AJ sometimes reflects that reality.
Correct.
Of, they have a different perspective, as they should.
As they should.
They have very different experiences. It's their career. It's what they've been doing for many years. They live in it the way none of us live in it every moment of their lives for, decade to 2 decades. So, of course, they're going to have opinions that may seem out of touch with the reality of the common folk.
And they are.
Yeah.
And they are. And listen, at the end of the day, that's okay. I love Adam Jones, but like I said, he's my crazy Uncle Ruckus. And when crazy Uncle Ruckus gets a few margs in him and starts tweeting, as long as it isn't anything offensive, which I don't think it would be, he's always welcome on our show. And, I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but I understand your perspective if you got mad at him last week for saying, hey, man, if you're not traveling, I didn't understand what the hell he was saying either. He was basically like, you don't even need money. You just need ambition. It's like, it doesn't really work that way. It's a little bit out of touch, and that's okay. I love him for his baseball takes. I love him for the human being he is. I love him for the father he is. I love him how much he loves the game. That's what I love about Adam Jones. And so I'm not telling you your opinion doesn't matter, but I know a lot of people got up in arms about it and were like DMing me, like, don't have him on anymore. That's not going to happen. The insight that we get from AJ is spectacular. It really is. And if you can take some of the other stuff with a grain of salt, just like you do Ben, just like you do me, we all have our moments, right? Where we're out of touch or we don't sound like we know what we're talking about. That's okay. We're good people. We care about you. That's him in a nutshell. I mean, he's our crazy Uncle Ruckus, and he's always going to be welcome on this program, always. And I just wanted to say that because I know there was some stuff that needed to be addressed, but it was really innocuous, but it was out of touch. I think both things can be true, So hey man, not everybody has the opportunity to go to the Maldives on a yacht. You have to understand
on a Tuesday.
You have to understand that too. And he's like, it's not just ambition that's going to get us there. I have a lot of ambition. I've never even sniffed the Maldives. Okay.
A couple $30 million contracts probably help.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, here's the other thing. I don't really want to. I don't like the thought of traveling somewhere and not being home makes me domed out. That's why we do staycations in my house. We like to be close to home. We really do. So what's good for him isn't necessarily good for everybody, but I just wanted to get that out there because I'm not putting Adam Jones on this radio show.
He gives us the best baseball coverage and perspective that more than any other guest
because he lived it, and he's still so entrenched in the game. He did a pregame speech in the World Baseball Classic for Team USA. Like that insight is so valuable for me, and he has history with Ron Kulpa, who we will talk to him about today. So I just wanted to get that out there. I did see the tweets. I do hear your concerns, but I'm not going to not put him on. Just know that. So sorry.
Adam Jones at 7:35. And then at 8:35, we'll talk with Tim Haggerty, who's the voice of the El Paso Chihuahuas. Talk about a hot prospect who made his AAA debut last night.
Yeah, debut.
By the name of Fernando Tatis Jr., first ever game of his career at AAA. Had a nice day. feels like he's going to move quickly up through the system. I mean, I feel like he only needs a couple of more weeks at AAA, and then he'll be ready for the big league. So we'll get an update from Tim Haggerty on what it was like last night to see El Nino in AAA. And he's the one who has the book out, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he wrote. We talked to him months ago. He said he was getting ready to come out.
Tales
I think it's
from the dugout.
Yeah,
or something like
so
that.
he'll tell us a little bit more about the life of minor league baseball as well.
Another book tour day. This should be.
I bet I know whose idea it was.
Hopefully this goes better than the last one. And I think it will because we know Tim.
We'll obviously talk about yesterday's disappointing Padres result. You don't want to have a lot of games in a World Series aspirational season. You don't want to let a lot of 5-1 leads be getting away against any team.
Good point.
And yesterday it did.
It sucked.
I think there are reasons that you can throw it out the window, and I think there are a couple of reasons for concern, and we will talk about those coming up. Daily Diddy selection. I believe it is my pick.
It is.
I will hand that to Paulie momentarily, and we'll come back, get you started on Ben and Woods as we head toward 10 o'clock this morning on San Diego's #1 sports station. See how traffic is looking on this Wednesday morning with Kelly Danick on 97.3 The Fan.
What a jam.
That is also my favorite part. We both waited for our favorite part. Yeah, never picked Rio. I heard it yesterday, just out and about, and thought, I can't believe that has not been chosen yet as a daily ditty. And with no theme, made it an easy selection for me this morning.
It's Duran Duran is so good.
They are.
They're so good. Very handsome fellas, too. Very handsome fellas. Still look good.
Ben and Woods with you. We'll get to Alan Shipnuck from the Masters here in a few minutes. So let's take a couple of minutes at least to share some initial thoughts on the Padres opening homestand. 3-3. Certainly not going to be something you're going to be happy about over the course of the season. When you are at home, you should be winning series. You should have a winning record, especially when you're facing teams that are expected to finish in the lower half of your division. So from a record standpoint, 3-3 is not good enough in my mind. The Padres obviously will have to do better if they want to get where they intend to go, and that is a championship at the end of the season. That being said, it's the first 6 games of the season. Padres aren't the only teams that are expected to contend that had a bad day or two. Ask the New York Mets, who are spending gobs and gobs of money, even more than the Padres, that lost 10-0 and 9-0 the last 2 days to the Milwaukee Brewers. It's the first week of the season, and I don't think anyone here is going to say the Mets are done, they're toast, they're cooked. It's not going to happen for them this year. You're going to have a few days, and yesterday was definitely one of them where the Padres, they let one get away. It got sloppy for various reasons defensively, and then the pitching was sloppy in terms of control, lots of walks, lots of base runners, and that's how you kind of let a team get back into a game when you're ahead. So, yeah, disappointing, but no reason to hit the panic button yet.
The Astros lost to the Tigers.
They're 2-4.
They're 2-4. The Astros.
No one says the Astros won't be there at the end.
I mean, again, it's hard to cover a macro sport on a micro level, which is what we have to do every day. And it's also hard for a fan to watch baseball and enjoy baseball at a macro level, 30,000 feet, and not go crazy about a bullpen that's not good right now. The starters are okay. The not being able to hold runners. There are people swiping bags at will against this team. Now, a couple of these issues, like you said, a lot of them aren't just, it's the beginning of the season. That's an issue. The fact that our pitchers are really, really bad at holding runners on, that's been an issue. That was an issue last year. We may have the worst in the league, as far as I know. And you combine that with a catcher that's about average. And I was looking at some of the numbers. People were posting them yesterday. It's about average as far as pop time. He's a little bit below average. His arm strength or whatever, it's about average. It's not above average. I mean, Pudge Rodriguez, he's not. Yadier Molina, he's not. But he's also not the worst catcher in the league. But when you combine that with one guy on the staff that can keep a guy close, and that's Ryan Weathers, you have one. One guy can keep guys close. Everybody else, off to the races. That's a problem.
I'll tell you something I did like about the opening homestand, and you tell me if you agree. You go up and down the 26-man roster, and I would say that just about every single player contributed something during this homestand.
Yeah, I mean, even the guys that got off to a rough start have...
Nelson Cruz hadn't done anything, but yesterday went deep, hit a home run, came off the bench when Manny was ejected. Maybe Nabil had a bad homestand.
Nabil's had a bit of a rough start to the season.
Even Domingo Tapia came back and
rebounded nicely.
Brent Honeywell came in and threw a good inning.
Worked 2 days in a row.
Had to work 2 days in a row. There's every single player, I think.
Yeah, Nola's contributed.
Odor had a double.
Odor
had to play a new position. Went out there. I feel
Dahl's contributed.
Every single player. You could point in the last 6 games, and I doubt there's a lot of teams that can say over the first week of the season that just about every player on their roster has contributed something positive toward either a win or toward what could have been a win. Had other guys stepped up. It was far from perfect, but there was not one guy that I'm going, God, this guy has done nothing for us this year.
Well, and Bob is going to these the first couple of weeks, probably the first month or so. They said we're gonna try to use everybody as much as we can. You want to see what you have, and you want to put guys in situations when they earn their way out of it. Michael Wacha was a great example. Another Jace Tingler might have pulled Michael Wacha the first spot of trouble. Bob left him in, let him get out of it, left with the lead, and ended up getting the win. Those are important things throughout the course of a season. So it's going to shake out. It's going to be fine. There's a lot of good teams around baseball that got off to slow starts, and we're at is it a slow start if you're 500?
No, it's
just an average start.
Average
it's just a start.
It's a start.
You're a start.
We'll get to our full Padres wrap up coming up in a little bit, but up next we will head down Magnolia Lane and take a stroll among the azaleas. Alan Shipnuck from the Fire Pit Collective.
Whoa, good.
God. He got fancy again.
Is going
I
to
heard
join
it.
us.
We're going to, you can hear it get away. We're going to take a stroll down the azaleas.
There's nothing wrong with, hey, it's Masters Week.
Among
We're going
the
to catch up
azaleas.
with one of the best in the business, Alan
going-
Shipnuck.
He went full Jim Nance on it. This is incredible. This is so good.
Coming up next on 97.3 The Fan. I liked how you tweeted yesterday, just shifting into golf mode immediately.
After that terrible game.
Got the NCAA championship game, the Padres, but this week with our Ben & Woods Open tomorrow and the Masters getting underway is about golf. And with that in mind, we are going to head straight to Augusta, Georgia right now. He writes for the Fire Pit Collective. He's been on our show before. And as I just discovered, you have to be very careful saying his name on the radio. He is Alan Shipnuck of the Fire Pit Collective. Alan, good morning to you. I just had a bit of a flub on the tees before the break.
You wouldn't be the first. I'm not mad about it.
Alan, are you able to hear envy through the radio? Can you hear jealousy coming through these airwaves because you are where every golfer wants to be? I'm still relatively new to the game, only been playing, seriously, 3-4 years. And I'm just dripping with envy. Ben, my partner, would do almost anything to be sitting where you are, calling into a radio station here. Walk us through the scene there at Augusta this morning.
You guys are slightly concerning me, honestly. Like you want to drip with it.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day in Augusta, Georgia. There's going to be some weather coming, possibly starting tomorrow and certainly on the weekend. So the fact that the sun is shining and the sky is blue is kind of nice because it's not going to last, unfortunately. But it's the Masters is always a highlight of the golf calendar. We know that. There's things about the club and its history that can be off-putting and all the rules, and everyone's so tight about everything. But once the golf starts, it's such a fantastic stage. And I think in decades past, the U.S. Open was the tournament they coveted the most. And at one point, it was probably the Open Championship, but certainly now the modern player, it's the Masters, and this is the one they want more than any other. And you can feel that energy, and the fact we've got this overarching storyline of Live Golf versus the PGA Tour adds a little juice to it. It's going to be a fantastic week of golf, and everyone here is jazzed. And to your point, you can feel it around town. I mean, I went to the grocery store last night at about 9:00, and people at the checkout stand are talking about their picks for the week and their favorite holes. And it's just the air is alive with Masters talk here and probably a lot of places. So it's just this big week for sure.
So, Alan, last night's Scotty Scheffler hosted Champions Dinner brought the PGA Tour loyalists and live golfers into very close quarters. I heard things got spicy, but only because of the firecracker shrimp and tortilla soup were a little hotter than people expected. Everyone's been playing kind of nicey this week between PGA Tour and Live. Is that a surprise to you or not at Augusta?
Yeah, there's sort of this mandated civility in Augusta. It's rigidly enforced Southern hospitality, and so I think out of deference to Scotty Scheffler, the host of the evening, Ben Crenshaw, who kind of presides over these dinners, to the chairman, who's the only non-player who's allowed in the room. I mean, the players are always going to be on their best behavior. It's just not the time or the place to start getting bitchy about tour politics. And to some degree, the majors are immune from that. Like, this is not a PGA Tour event. This is not a live event. I mean, this is hosted by an independent organization, just like all the majors. And so in this new era, the 4 major championships, their status has been even more elevated because these are the only times all year that we get all the best players together. And, Brooks Koepka's now won 2 of his last 6 starts on Live Golf. What does that mean?
Right.
We're not really sure. Like, obviously he's in pretty good form, but how much weight do we assign to those victories? Well, it's hard to say. It really is. But if he goes out and wins the Masters, then he's answered the question. Brooks is back. It's like, these have become the yardsticks that the game needs. So I don't think any of the players want to get sucked in any melodrama. They want this week about the Masters. I mean, the biggest pot stirrer of them all is Phil Mickelson. He declined to go into the press room and do a press conference. I think that kind of shows the discretion people are trying to employ here. So if you get a star from each tour coming down the stretch on Sunday, it's going to add some extra energy to the whole thing, and you'll feel it in the air. And the players will have very strong rooting interest. And what happens after one of those guys wins, and who's waiting to greet them at the scoring area, like all of that is going to be inescapable. But everything else is subtle and kind of below the surface this week at least.
Talking to our pal Alan Shipnuck from the Fire Pit Collective here on Ben and Woods this morning. Is it bad for golf if Cameron Smith comes out and just dominates, or Dustin Johnson finds, he's played so well there as well. Is it bad for the sport if one of those live guys goes out and wins what is, like you just described, kind of now the ultimate tournament for these guys?
Yeah, bad. No, I think it's amazing.
It's great drama, certainly. Great drama.
It's a gift from the content gods.
The content. We love the content gods too. Yeah.
Guys, in your business and mine, what more could you want? It would be amazing. It would just turn the volume way up on all this stuff. And, for a PGA Tour loyalist or a certain strain of fan who maybe is kind of tired of hearing about the wars between the tours, then they might not love it, but it would be a big deal. I mean, it'd be a big deal for Live Golf, because that's the number one talking point that's been used against these players is that they sold out. It's not real competition. They just took the money. They don't care anymore. So if one of them can win the Masters, it just ends all of those talking points. And then you have to say, well, these guys are clearly still invested in their careers. They're still trying hard. They're still able to keep sharp in a slightly different form of competition over on that tour. So it'd be a monumental thing for Live Golf just to end all that talk. And it would certainly aid in their ongoing efforts to be taken seriously and to attract more fans. I mean, you have the Masters champion on your tour. That's going to move the needle for sure.
Big one. Yeah.
Alan, obviously, anytime Tiger Woods now plays, it's going to be a huge part of the story, and he is there at Augusta. Saw some of his practice rounds, did his media session yesterday. Did you get any insight from Tiger? I know he's pretty much pretty formulaic when he speaks with the media, and he always has been.
Yeah, but I thought it was interesting because he was a little more real and raw and honest and unscripted. Yesterday, I was in the arena, as they call it, when he did his press conference, and Tiger always had that script, like second place sucks, and I'm not going to show up at the tournament if I can't win. And he never deviated it, no matter how many back surgeries he'd had or DUIs or whatever tumult was in his life. He still had to be this golfing machine that could never admit weakness or humanity. He was the Terminator, and his tone has changed now. And for him to say, "I'm not sure how many Masters I have left, and I just want to enjoy every minute and savor this," and that was a shift in the rhetoric. That's just Tiger acknowledging what all of us can see with our own eyes, and I think that's kind of important because he's always been somewhat detached from reality in his many comebacks. But of course, he is Tiger Woods, and he keeps climbing the mountain over and over. So maybe it's that insane focus that has allowed him to do it. But clearly, we're coming to the end of Tiger as a competitor. I mean, everybody can see that. Him having to withdraw at the PGA Championship, skipping U.S. Open, just watching the physical struggle to get up and down the hills and out of the bunkers here. So I think it was healthy for Tiger to come to terms with that publicly. And it doesn't mean he can't still play well. I mean, there's still genius in his hands. He still has, he's the greatest tactician golf has seen, at least since Jack Nicklaus. If on the right course where it turns into a chess match as much as it's about executing golf shots, he might still be dangerous. But the issue is 4 days in a row, will his body let him do what he wants to do or what he needs to do? And it just seems unlikely because the foot takes so much out of him. And by the way, he has the fused spine and he's had 5 back surgeries. And even if you take away the car accident, Tiger's physical health was a question mark. Now you add it all up. I mean, how is he going to beat a fully optimized, healthy, hungry Jon Rahm or Scotty Scheffler or Cam Smith or any of these guys who are at the absolute peaks when he's been so diminished? I mean, it just seems impossible. But he is Tiger effing Woods. I mean, he's he's surprised us many times before, so you can never say never with him. But I think the healthy attitude, as Tiger kind of said, is to just enjoy it. I mean, this may be his last Masters. We just don't know. And so I think it's just about appreciating everything he's given us. It's about, him feeling the sun on his back and hearing the cheers from the crowd, and make some great shots and make some, not to me. I guess the National doesn't tell me what works to use. That's not I'm not that business. But then it's then I think he can have the proper attitude. And I mean, he could make the cut. Like, he only has to beat really 30 guys, and you take out the past champions and the amateurs. I mean, it's really maybe 25. So it's not a shock if he makes the cut here, but realistically, can he contend? Could he actually get it done across 4 days in bad weather? I mean, it seems like an impossible ask.
Well, I can't let you go. Talking to Alan Shipnuck from the Fire Pit Collective, who's live at Augusta right now, live at the Masters. Can't let you go without talking about that menu. Now, look, I'm looking at the menu, and there's nothing on there.
The concession menu.
Yeah, the concession menu. And I'm looking at it, and every year I see it. And every
year,
year,
$1.50 sandwich, and the rest of us don't understand what's going on. Alan.
It's not. Every year I see it, and every year, Alan, I'm like, ooh, I get all excited. You can get a pimento cheese sandwich today at Vaughn's for $1.50. I don't know why I get so excited when I see this menu. It's the prices, it's the combos of the food. It might be the Georgia peach ice cream sandwich, but you've been to the Masters, covered it many, many times. Does that menu get old? What is your kind of go-to when you're out there? Because I've already made my menu for the day.
Well, there's an incredible restaurant in the press building that has really good food, and then if you're a credentialed media member, you can dine on the back veranda of the clubhouse, where a lot of the past champions hang out, and you might sit next to Jack Nicklaus one day or the next. So
and I'm getting more jealous.
Yeah, it's so envious. Oh,
so those are the go-to lunch spots. I mean, if I'm out in the course, I might grab something, but I mean, the prices are funny. It's just Augusta's ongoing efforts to pretend it's the 1950s, and they do that in a lot of different ways, for better and for worse.
Yes,
but it's great for the fans. I mean, you can actually, also the parking's free, and that's like my least favorite thing in life is when someone charges me $50 to park my own car in a giant parking lot. It's like, really. You didn't make any effort there, pal.
Yeah, nothing. You waved me in. Yeah, you waved. I pay you $50 for me to park my car.
So parking's free. The food is dirt cheap. I mean, you really could actually take a family to the Masters for a day and not have to, take a second mortgage. So it's cool. I mean, they could charge whatever they want for everything, and people would pay it. And they do feel like they're stewards of this very special experience. And obviously, they're not hurting for money. They have a lot of different revenue streams. So it's refreshing that they don't gouge the fans. So I support it. The food is fun, and the angst that accompanied last year, the Georgia peach ice cream sandwich disappeared from the menu, but now it's back this year, and there's like actual newspaper articles being written about this, and people like you are talking about it as if it's a global event.
Yeah.
Like, it tells you how invested folks are in the Masters.
Well, I mean, we're some chubby guys in here, and the thought of a Georgia peach ice cream sandwich, it's almost too much to bear. Like, we have our golf tournament tomorrow, and we don't have Georgia peach ice cream sandwiches. I'll tell you that, and I'm actually pretty bummed about it now that you mention it. But, man, we appreciate your time very much.
We have pound cake.
No, yeah, we do have pound cake. We know you're very busy. Have a great time out there. I know you will, and looking forward to seeing all the content that you put out.
Well, thanks, guys. It's always fun to talk to you.
Appreciate it.
Alan Shipnuck from the Fire Pit Collective on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads.
So we talk a lot about bucket lists on the show, and there's a couple now that I've gotten into golf that that just has to be done at some point. I don't know how. I actually on a whim last year kind of signed up for that lottery to get tickets, and people have been doing that, Ben, for 15 years and not been able to get in. The credentialed media part, that's interesting. But I'm sure they do some.
I knew it was pretty cool for the media. It's even, I mean, you're Alan.
Better.
I didn't realize you could like dine, and they've got their own restaurants, and like
you're sitting
my goodness gracious. There's a reason why Jim Nantz is saying goodbye to the Final Four and not the Masters.
There's something weird though. Like I think it would make me uncomfortable to sit next to Jack Nicklaus as he's like eating an egg salad sandwich and there's like egg salad on his chin or something, I think it would like bum me out.
Hey,
But
Golden Bear, right there.
yeah, Jack, right there, buddy. Sorry. But it's every year when it comes around and you watch it on TV and you talk to Alan and hear these stories, you sit there and you, as a golfer, you go, I've got to make that trip. I just have to make that trip at some point. My dad got to do it once, said he spent like 17 hours a day out on the golf course. Just get the first one out there just to walk around. He said there's not a blade of grass out of place, not a cigarette butt on the ground. It's just perfect.
Alan mentioned Phil Mickelson. I'm going to say something. It's going to sound mean, but I think it needs to be said. Do that right after a quick check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Buick GMC of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto Family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Premier Kia of Carlsbad. Got a collision on the northbound 805 before University. That's over to the right shoulder. Also, still clearing a crash on northbound 125 just before Hammershaw. Couple vehicles over the right shoulder. One in the center divide. With a huge selection of new Kias in stock, they're sure to have the Kia of your dreams. They're right up the 5 freeway in the heart of Carlsbad. Or shop online at premierkiaofcarlsbad.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So did you see Phil yesterday? I know he didn't do an official media, but there were a couple of clips of him. And again, I'm not trying to take a personal shot. I just think it's an observation that, Phil talks a big.
I saw a picture of him with all of the guys at dinner in their green jackets, and he looked rough.
He looks like he's aged 10 years in the last 8 months. And he talks a big game about how great everything's going on Live and how this was the best decision and just how fantastic everything's been since they went to this new Saudi tour. But his physical appearance kind of belies this must have been a very difficult, stressful time. You know how last year at the Live, he kind of had the beard and looked kind of like the evil, like a villain, the evil version of Phil Mickelson. Now he's clean shaven, but I must say he does. He's lost a lot of weight. He looks almost gaunt, like he's had a very stressful last year or two. And again, I'm not saying that to be mean. We all age, and father time catches up. But it feels like he's had a lot more stress than maybe he acts when he talks with the media and says everything's going just peachy well for him on the Live Tour.
Hannah sent me a picture yesterday of Bo and I at a Padres game 2 years ago yesterday. I look like I'm 14 years old compared to what I saw this morning in the mirror. So I don't know what it is. But I would say it's been pretty stressful for him with Alan's book that came out, which was a phenomenal read, but it paints a not so great picture. And then, that tour and all that. And, he's got $100 million coming his way, so that should help a little bit, but who knows what's going on behind closed doors.
All right, we'll come back. Our Padres wrap up of a tough one yesterday against the Diamondbacks, but it'll take on Woods as well. Next up on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back. It's Ben and Woods, a.k.a. Two Guys Just Dreaming of Georgia Peach Ice Cream Sandwiches.
God, it sounds good, doesn't it?
On 97.3 The Fan. It really, really does.
I
Really?
love peach ice
Peach
cream.
ice cream.
Peach ice cream is
Oh,
so
mama.
good.
And of course, the Georgia peaches. Just
Peach cobbler,
peach cobbler,
peach
peach
pie.
pie.
peach crisp.
Yes. Now I'm feeling bummed and upset that I don't get one.
Thanks again to Alan Shipnuck from the Fire Pit Collective who joined us from Augusta, Georgia.
How do we get in there?
I don't really know.
How do you get in there?
I'll talk.
I'll
talk to Matty G and
Well,
see what it takes to become a credentialed member of the media.
I
Because
bet you
we'll go there in a heartbeat if we can do
if
our
we can get
shows.
a credential.
I mean, if we can do like our week of shows from Augusta
I'll take the
National,
week off. Man.
we'll go and do it.
You think Adam's going to pay for a hotel room out there?
Even if he doesn't,
It'd
we
be
got to
worth
get
it.
out there. We got to get out there at some
He's
point.
so sick. Would you
How
want to go
far-
on that
How
trip?
far is Atlanta?
It's far.
It's
So
like
make
a
us stay
2-hour
there
drive.
at like a friend's house.
Guys, you can just stay with my parents. It's fine. No. I really want to go. I really, 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 really want to go.
All right, the Padres wrap up. Well, we got to get to it. Hey, you'll enjoy the first half of the wrap
Yeah.
up, and then the second half, not so much. Paulie, why don't you play it for us?
It's a shame if they lose.
Did you miss any of the Padres game yesterday?
Oh, it's been a great day today. Can't wait for more.
Oh, God, here we go. Jesus Christ.
Cancel the parade. That's why you play the games.
It's the Padres wrap-up with Ben and Woods.
Slam Diego? More like fail Diego.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
I just felt the way that the roster is built, they would have to outscore their opponents to win.
Right.
Manny's just been called out for an automatic third strike. He called time, and now he and Ron Culpa are discussing it. Bob Melvin's coming out, but this is not reviewable. It's not going to change. Manny has just taken an automatic third strike, and so it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the first. I saw him ask for time. Bob Melvin's been ejected, and now Manny's coming back towards Culpa, which nobody needs. Got to keep him in the game. Third base coach Mike Schilt in the vicinity as well, and Bob Melvin's been tossed for the first time this year. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Nola hits a line drive up the middle, off the glove of Marte into center field, base hit. Cronenworth speeding around third. He will score. Throw comes all the way through, and behind the play, Nola into second base. Padres take a 1-0 lead here in the second, and some really nice hitting by both Cronenworth and Austin Nola. First pitch coming. Cruz hits it really well. Deep to left field. It is way back. Carroll at the wall. Leaps. Gonna go. Nelson Cruz. First home run is a Padre. And now a 2-0 lead here in the fourth. A moonshot into the second or third row in straightaway left field. So 3-1. Here's the pitch. Cronenworth runs. Pitch is low. It's ball 4, and it goes into center field. Bogart's going to come in and score, and the Padres will add to their lead. Jake ends up all the way around third base, and boy, you talk about a costly walk for Zach Gallen. Soto at second, 2 down. Bogart's at the plate. First pitch coming. That's hit in the air to deep left field. Carroll going back on the warning track. At the wall. Gonna go. Home run, Xander Bogaerts. Again, his third of the season already. A 2-run shot here in the fifth. And now a 5-1 Padre lead. 2-2 curveball hit in the air to right field. Pretty much right at Dahl. Comes charging in. Oh, he slid forward. Couldn't make the catch. McCarthy will come in to score. They're going to wave Thomas. Here's the relay to the plate, and he is safe. Bang, bang at the plate. Went in with a feet first slide. Obviously, the Padres will wait and see if they want to challenge it. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Perdomo trying to bunt, pushes it towards first. Charged by Carpenter. Little bit of a bobble. Everybody's going to be safe, and the game is tied. Carpenter had a shot maybe at McCarthy coming home if he makes the play cleanly, but he could not. And it is 5-5 in the eighth. Here's the 0-1. Herrera lines it into center field. Grisham, a little bit of a hesitation, charging in. Not going to get there. Wasn't going to anyway. And Perdomo will come around and score the go-ahead run. Diamondbacks lead for the first time today. It's 6-5. And again, the stolen bases looming gigantic here in the top of the eighth. Runner from first goes. Pitch inside. Nola's throw down to second. Cut. Cronenworth coming home. The tag. He is safe. Nola must have missed the tag on Rojas, at least according to Ron Culpa. And again, the Padres don't have a challenge, but they can ask for a crew chief review here. Jamison will kick and deal, and the pitch hit in the air to deep right field. McCarthy going back. He is watching, and it will go. A long home run for Trent Grisham. Second of the year already, and don't go anywhere. 8-6 Arizona in the ninth. Padres down to their final strike. 0-2 on Nelson Cruz. Here's the pitch, and a swing and a miss. Went after a slider in the dirt, and the ball game is over. The Diamondbacks with a come-from-behind win here this afternoon, and they lock it down 8-6 to earn a 2-game split in this series.
We're trying to get it to Garcia in the 8th and Hader in the 9th. We had, several guys unavailable today, and we were going to pitch. Honeywell was really one of them. Unfortunately, we got into a predicament where we had to use him, and he picked us up. Obviously, the results weren't great, so ended up being an ugly game for us.
I can't tell you how much I love the new Open, by the way. That music is like, it's perfect. Royalty-free, acoustic, sad music with some of those phenomenal clips that Paulie put together. Brilliantly done as usual. But you don't want to hear that Open much, because if you hear that Open, that means you lost. And we've heard 3 good ones and 3 bad ones so far this season. That was a frustrating game to watch. It was frustrating. Really, the only thing I think that you can look at and continue to say every day, Xander Bogaerts was a great addition to this team. He has been everything promised and then some. I thought Yu Darvish really gutted it out yesterday. I tweeted yesterday, I trust Yu Darvish implicitly. He's an artist out there, and even without any semblance of his best stuff, Ben, got hosed a couple of times on some calls. Feel like he got a couple calls that went back his way a little bit too. That kind of evened out. That said, man, he's spinning it too much, hitting guys, pitching himself out of jams, though. He is truly an artist out there, and I feel confident when he's on the mound. Now, last year, I felt confident when our guys from the bullpen would come in. They typically got the job done for the most part, and it just did not happen yesterday. And 5-1 lead, that's one you got to hold. You got to figure out how to win that game.
Quickly, I need a contestant for Take on Woods. Call now, 833-288-0973. We're going to play in just a couple of minutes. I don't want to blame the World Baseball Classic for yesterday's loss, but if there was a loss that you could sort of blame it on, you feel like Yu Darvish, had he been a little more built up and a little more locked in, could have gone deeper into that game, might have made a difference yesterday. I was happy that he got through 5 innings, allowed just the 1 run. It was a very janky start for Yu Darvish.
Yeah, it was.
You're not going to see him walk 4 guys, hit 2 guys. Clearly didn't have his normal sharp command, but he was good enough. He's a battler. He's a veteran pitcher.
It's an artist, man. He really is.
He did a good job. It would have been nice given, Bob Melvin, as he said, we had a number of guys down. Tim Hill, supposed to be Brent Honeywell, that he couldn't use out of the bullpen, that another inning or 2 from a starter would have been fantastic. Had that 1-7 pitch inning that you thought, oh, now he's locked in, but
back
then the
on
rest
track.
of them were just kind of,
grindy.
laboring and grindy, and 5 innings really felt like it was going to be the limit there at that point for Yu Darvish, and then they had to go to the bullpen. Yeah, they were a play here or there away from easily winning that game. David Dahl makes that play, and David Dahl said, I should have made that play with 2 outs in the 6th inning, help Nabil Krismat out, get him out of the jam. Just didn't quite make he said he made the right read, and he kind of hesitated and,
right in his glove,
and then lost it, out of the glove.
I mean, it hit the palm of his glove. He squeezes it in, and it's over. And you feel like at that point, the play to Matt Carpenter too. Matt Carpenter's not going to be your everyday first baseman. And listen, that's you're going to run up against that a little bit.
The
here
safety
and there.
squeeze,
the safety squeeze. Just off his glove. I thought he, made a good read on it, knew what was coming, hit him right in the glove. I mean, that's 2 plays that you feel like you should have made. The other, major concern is that there is a weakness that this team has, and other teams like the Diamondbacks, are going to exploit it. They're going to run all over the San Diego Padres. I felt like they did last year. I felt like they did in the playoffs. Who was it that was running like crazy against us? Was it the Mets running like wheels off against? I can't remember.
I did the Phillies do it.
Phillies maybe,
in
yeah.
the NLCS,
and I think
it's a concern.
It's a combo. It's a combo of just guys not. I mean, Luis Garcia, for all the guys on our roster that aren't great at it, he may be the worst. You have to have a slide step. You've got it. The one time he threw over, he threw it away. And so it's like, bro, the stolen bases are way up. And that team, that Diamondbacks team, if they're not one thing, they're fast.
When the Padres pitchers are locked in, they're not going to allow many base runners.
Correct.
And it doesn't matter if you've got speed, if you can't get on base. But once they're on base,
you're in trouble.
Top to bottom, it's not great at holding runners. The catchers, Nola and Camposano, aren't among the better in the league in throwing out runners. The Padres are vulnerable there to speed on the base paths, and the Arizona Diamondbacks took advantage yesterday. I think what's really disappointing, though, is as you listen to the Padres wrap up there, Manny Machado should have been batting in the ninth inning. Not that Nelson Cruz didn't come in and hit a home run, but should have been Manny there with a chance to tie the game, and it wasn't. We'll talk about Ron Kulpa and the ejection a little bit later, but I've got a few thoughts, obviously, on what went down in the first inning, and I know you do as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, here we go.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But right now, let's get to our game. It is time for Take on Woods. All right, new month, and Steve always likes to check in early in the month to try to qualify for our grand prize drawing, which this month is not just the getaway to the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino, but we got tickets to see Barry Manilow. And you may roll your eyes a little bit. I think it would be so cool to see Barry Manilow in concert in Las Vegas, like a perfect Vegas experience. He's going to be performing for the 14th year at the Westgate at their international showroom. We got 2 tickets and 2 nights in Vegas for one of our qualifiers, but you got to beat her, Ty Woods. Steve, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. You know how the game works. I think most of the listeners know how it works, and if they don't, they'll follow along. Here are your categories: Way Station, songs with the word way; 70s movie music; or Golden State, California theme tunes. So of those 3, Way Station, 70s movie music, or Golden State. Steve, what would you like to play?
Wow. Let's try Way Station.
Way Station. All right. Today we are looking for 5 songs that include the word way. You'll get your chance at your 5 questions, then Woods will come back, get the same. We'll start with our 2-second song. Steve, I know you know the drill, so title, artists. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. The category is Way Station. Good luck, Steve. Let's take on Woods.
Aerosmith, Walk This Way.
Correct. In 1978, Sid Vicious released a punk rock version of which Frank Sinatra staple?
I Did It My Way.
Correct. The debut single for Bruno Mars and the first ever gold record for Billy Joel share what title?
High Life.
Incorrect. In 2017, Peter Frampton told lawmakers in Washington that he only made $1,700 for 55 million online streams of which hit song?
Show Me the Way.
Incorrect. Music critics say Lenny Kravitz was channeling Jimi Hendrix in which hard-rocking 1993 hit that was also the title of his 3rd album?
I Can Go My Way.
And not quite. It's Are You Gonna Go My Way? It's close, but I will give you credit for 2.5. We'll see if we need a tiebreaker in there. You got Walk This Way by Aerosmith and My Way. So Bruno Mars, Billy Joel is Just the Way You Are. And then the Peter Frampton song is Baby, I Love Your Way Every Day. Ooh, baby, I love your way. All right, Woods now gets to come back in. He didn't hear that part. It's the same 5 questions and the same 60 seconds. Steve's score is locked in. He's hanging on. Reset our 2-second song. 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods doesn't get the category. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Steve.
That is Walk This Way by Aerosmith.
Correct. In 1978, Sid Vicious released a punk rock version of which Frank Sinatra staple?
My Way.
Correct. The debut single for Bruno Mars and the first ever gold record by Billy Joel share what title?
She's got away?
Incorrect. In 2017, Peter Frampton told lawmakers in Washington he only made $1,700 for 55 million online streams of which hit song?
Show Me the Way?
Incorrect. Music critics say Lenny Kravitz was channeling Jimi Hendrix in which hard-rocking 1990...
Are You Gonna Go My Way?
Correct, and that is that's the difference.
Oh.
3 to 2.5. Steve didn't quite get the Lenny Kravitz song correct.
I think he said "Go My Way."
Oh, yeah. Are You Gonna Go My Way?
So Billy Joel's Just the Way You Are.
Okay.
And Baby, I Love Your Way by Peter Frampton.
Didn't he also do I Want You, Show Me the Way?
Is that Peter
I
Frampton?
think that's Frampton, isn't it?
But
no, is that the same song? No, it's a different song.
I know the Baby, I Love Your Way is.
No, that's the other one.
Oh, that's the other one.
Yeah. All right, well, another dub.
Baby, I love your way every day. All right, Steve. You know what? Call in again this month. We'll get you qualified at some point. You're a good player at this game. I have no doubt that you'll be able to nail it at some point when you call in. So, but Woods remains undefeated here in the month of April.
Oh, feeling good.
On Take on Woods.
Move me to the bullpen.
Lockdown, our lockdown closer.
Yeah.
On Take on Woods.
That's exactly right.
All right. Don't Do This is coming up next here on Ben and Woods. Did you see? Did you see what Ollie
Ben
Marmol?
on Woods.
Hold on, Ben on Woods.
Ben on Woods.
It's not something I want to think about.
See Ollie Marmol yesterday.
I did not.
Cardinals manager. I'm not sure who gets the Don't Do This here, but kind of some strife already on their team with the St. Louis Cardinals early in the season.
In-house strife?
Yeah.
Ooh.
In-house strife.
I like that.
With the Cardinals. Get to that coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's check traffic right now on 97.3 The Film.
Do this.
It's time for Don't Do This.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
Why? How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron.
Dumbass.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't do this.
Do not tweet that.
With Ben and Woods.
I like a Nickelback song or two.
On 97.3 The Fan.
We've got to actually 2 Cardinals stories to kick off. Don't do this, Woodsy. I'll let you start with the football Cardinals first today.
Well, I like to call the Arizona Cardinals the Commanders of the West. That's exactly what they are. You got the Washington Commanders on the East Coast and the Arizona Cardinals on the West Coast. Both organizations poorly run, top to bottom. The new scandal out yesterday, and I was reading through it last night. So former Cardinals executive Terry McDonough has accused Cardinals owner Michael Bidwill of, quote, gross misconduct, including cheating, discrimination, and harassment. They filed an arbitration proceeding with Commissioner Roger Goodell on Tuesday. So it's his contention that he and former Cardinals head coach Steve Wilks were forced to use burner phones to communicate with former Cardinals GM Steve Keim during his 5-week suspension. We did his suspension for extreme DUI in Arizona in 2018. We did that on Don't Do This, I do believe, back in the day. So he's suspended. He is to have no contact with anybody in his organization. Owner comes down, he goes, looks around, he goes, hey, I stopped by 7-Eleven this morning. I grabbed these Boost Mobile for they're $29.99 a month.
Pretty Butler do it.
Pretty good deal. You take one, you take one. Steve's got these numbers. You guys can all communicate. They're like, hey, if we get caught doing this, we're in trouble. Like, this is bad. We can't do this. He said, no. This is what you're going to do. He forced him. Said that he created an environment of fear for minority employees as well. Very strong accusations. And so we'll see how this kind of plays out in court. But I mean, there's got to be proof of some of this stuff.
Yeah, he said he kept the phone.
So
he's got the text messages and
you're
whatever.
dead. You're dead. Then.
The call logs.
If you're Arizona, you're toast. Like, why would you even fight it? Just take your punishment.
I guess. I mean, what does a GM really do?
That's the other thing
during the season to influence a game. Whatever. To me, it doesn't sound like why would you even bother to cheat with that? It's like, all right, well, we'll see you when you're back. We'll muddle through while you're gone.
I think the overarching theme though is dictatorial.
Right.
Terror makes you scared for your job, forces you to do things you don't want to do that could potentially get you in trouble. I think that's kind of the overarching thing. And
we wouldn't want our bosses to force us to break the rules here.
No, never, ever, ever. And I mean, if Adam got suspended 5 weeks, I would just say, all right, cool. I'll talk to you in 5 weeks.
It's funny, though. It's different in different sports. Like in baseball, if Bob Melvin gets ejected, he'll find a way if he needs to communicate with the dugout. You can tell a clubhouse guy, they can run it down and let, whoever's the interim manager, hey, this is what Bob says about this. I don't think that's going to be a fine or anything. If that
yelling
happens.
up the tunnel, I think you're okay.
They stand just out of view up the
it's
tunnel.
All eyewash anyway. Yeah.
It really is. All right, I've got a St. Louis Cardinals story on Don't Do This. I was actually watching this game without any sound, and I didn't notice anything when this happened, but it was a 4-1 game. Cardinals were trailing the Atlanta Braves in the 7th inning, 2 outs, had a base hit by Brendan Donovan, and Tyler O'Neill is going from second to try to score. Rounds third, thrown out by a couple of steps at home plate. He's out pretty easily. After the game, Ollie Marmol, the manager of the Cardinals, was quite public in his criticism of Tyler O'Neill, saying he did not think he put in the best effort on that run from second to home, that his turn around third wasn't good. It just wasn't aggressive base running. He said that's not our style of play as far as the effort rounding the bag there. It's unacceptable. O'Neill said, well, he didn't think I gave the best effort. I'm out here every day grinding my ass off, giving it my all, trying to stay on the field for 160 games out here, basically kind of implying that, I also have to be kind of careful not to hurt myself as I'm going. Maybe don't send me in that situation. Feels like a very public spat, though, for so early in the season for a team that's noted, for its great chemistry and its Cardinal way. That was very surprising.
That's not the Cardinal way. That is not
I would think if this happened with Bob Melvin, it would be handled behind closed doors.
Oh, I think every
not
time.
publicly.
I think every single time. Our buddy Baseball Nick just tweeted in, super interesting. StatCast had O'Neill at 28 feet per second coming around third base. That's like a 3.2 second 90. That's pretty fast. So he was going hard. But yeah, that's not good, man. You can't. I don't think you can call
more from O'Neill. He said, like I said, I just got to get a better jump next time, and I guess just get around the base a little quicker and be in there in next time. Ouch.
Yeah, nobody likes.
Ouch.
Nobody likes to get called out publicly by their manager. I don't think that's a good manager. I don't think that's a good thing for the manager to do.
That's what my don't do this goes more to Ollie Normal.
Oh yeah.
In this situation and the way he is handling, whether he is right or not, I don't know. Maybe the that stat that you pointed out said Ollie Marmol might not even have his facts right here, and he's calling out one of his own players publicly for lack of hustle.
I mean, that's bad. Like that's not something that happens. So this audio, you have the audio, Paulie? This should put everything to rest.
DD mega doo-doo.
But I don't think it will. But it should.
You're right. This is end of conversation.
It's the conversation stops here. And of course, we're talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all the backlash that Angel Reese received. Keith Olbermann calling her an effing idiot. Dave Portnoy calling her a classless piece of S.
For doing the same thing that Caitlin Clark did.
It doesn't even matter, man. That's a 20-year-old girl, at the end of the day. And so they went to Caitlin Clark, the, I guess, subject of the taunting. She was on SportsCenter yesterday, and this is what she had to say.
One of the things people talk about is race as a component of this. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think Angel should be criticized at all. No matter which way it goes, she should never be criticized for what she did. I'm just one that competes, and she competed. So I think everybody knew there was going to be a little trash talk in the entire tournament. It's not just me and Angel. So, I don't think she should be criticized. Like I said, LSU deserves it. They played so well. And like I said, I'm a big fan of hers.
That's how you do it. That's it. That should be stopped. Done.
Right. Any other comment by anyone else after that is sticking your nose in where it doesn't belong.
Exactly. I loved that. I thought that was such a power move. And I genuinely think that she feels that way. Hey, we see it all the time in the men's game. I mean, we see it in men's basketball. We see it in baseball. We see it in football. My God. I mean, it happens all the time.
Now, Caitlin Clark had come out and said, yeah, I think Angel Reese took it a little too far and just didn't feel sportsmanlike. At that point, hey, everyone have your opinion. Defend Angel Reese. Say, I think Caitlin Clark was right. But if Caitlin Clark says, I don't have a problem with it, and I do the same thing, then everyone else at this point just has to be okay with it.
Yeah, it really should put the finishing touches on the whole thing. So that is a don't and do this.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
I know a lot of our tier ones thought Adam Jones was in the don't do this category.
They were mad at him
recently, but he can come on, and he's a big boy. He can defend himself when he comes
Uncle
on
Ruckus.
And joins us next. You will always have that opportunity on this program. We will talk with Adam Jones, our weekly segment from Mauritius.
Mauritius is where he is.
Mauritius. Next on 97.3 The Fan. I always enjoy Where in the World is Adam Jones. I already know where in the world he is today, and it is as exotic of a locale, even for Adam Jones. This one is pretty out there. We'll get to AJ right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Buick GMC of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. We still have this crash on the northbound 805 before University. Vehicle went over the right shoulder. Also, westbound side of the 8 at College, a collision in the center divide. Traveling on the northbound 15 at Claremont Mesa Boulevard off-ramp, stalled vehicle partially in lanes. Now getting reports of a collision in the North County, southbound 15 before the 76. Car and motorcycle involved in this one. Looks like that is mostly over to the right shoulder. Also, keep in mind they are going to be reopening the westbound lanes of the 78 between College and El Camino Real later this morning, but they will be closing the eastbound lanes through that same stretch. So this afternoon's commute could be a hassle for a lot of folks. Coach Quintera and Joe Musgrove's choice. They're a different kind of dealership looking to be a solid community partner and deliver excellent service. Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Chevrolet, find new roads. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, Woodsy, I'm very lucky. We all are that I get to see the Pacific Ocean almost every single day of my life. Even if it's just driving by, it's right there. I have a few times in my life seen the Atlantic Ocean. I walked along the beach a couple of years ago in the Atlantic. I have never seen the Arctic Ocean, though. And I've never been to the Indian Ocean, our 4 planets oceans. But we go straight to the Indian Ocean this morning, where we are joined by Adam Jones here on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Fan Hotline. Good morning, AJ.
Hey, you know what? Good evening, right, to you guys. It's 6:40 where I'm at. The sun is gone. The moon is just shining bright like a diamond in the sky, and I'm a few margaritas deep. I've had a great day. I played tennis and paddle. I'm exhausted, lost a couple of calories. We're all good.
Good, man. Well, we were texting this morning, and you nicknamed yourself Uncle Ruckus, and I think that's the greatest nickname of all time. So I would like to make that stick number one. And I came on the air this morning, AJ, and I felt the need. I felt the need to explain a little bit to our audience because I listen. I love having you on. I love the insight you give. I think it's fantastic. Now, you got some people up in arms last week with your tweets, which, by the way, I am very guilty of as well from time to time. Did you want to explain yourself about last week's Twitter incident where because you really have a desire for other people to travel? that was kind of your main goal.
Dude, I'm telling you. Dude, I'm telling you, it's my biggest main goal because a lot of people are just so caught up in their own personal small-ass circle.
Right.
I grew up in Southeast San Diego, and trust me, a lot of my friends, a lot of people I grew up with are still stuck in the small-ass bubble of what they grew up in. I go to Baltimore. I meet new people. They're still stuck in the small-ass bubble of what they are stuck in and what they know. Again, the world is big. I think my biggest thing was playing baseball. I played against so many people from around every part of the world, all corners of it. And I just wanted, and I'd say I had an ambition to go see it. Most people don't have ambitions to leave anything. And most people I know, San Diego people, are Vegas or
Arizona,
Miami. Do you really think that shit is traveling? You really think that shit is traveling?
All right.
Not traveling.
All right. So I get you.
Traveling. You're seeing the same people. You're seeing the same people. Go down somewhere to where you think that you might be mugged. I mean,
expand your horizons is essentially.
I will. I think your point is well taken, Adam. And I know it's just the margaritas talking, but we can have no more cursing on the air this morning. So you got your one in, and we dumped it, and now we get to move on. But I think for a lot of people, they say, well, I don't have the resources to travel the world and see everything. You can do that though, Adam. You can broaden your horizons. Not necessarily, even if you can't travel, you can learn about other cultures. You're saying that there's a wider world out there and that we all need to understand that it's not all about what we can see in front of our faces all of the time.
No, I got a story from a lady. She told me, and again, it happened in 1971. So again, Times are different, prices are different in terms of education. You still can study abroad. And this lady told me that her mom studied abroad in 1971, went to Germany, met her father. If like studying abroad was the incident of meeting her father. She didn't have the resources, the mom, but her university had the resources. People need to reach out to their resources instead of just taking what everyone says for granted. When you go to college, again, I didn't go to college, but I know a lot of people that did, and I went through the process and I asked questions. That you can study abroad. Studying abroad, I think, is one of the greatest, most opening eyes, shattering moments that you can possibly have because, again, there's 330 million Americans. Beautiful. Love it. It's approaching 8 billion people. Let's go out and see the world because the world is gorgeous. And again, we've talked about it multiple times about where I'm at, what I'm doing, and my wife's travel company. It's all about seeing the world, seeing different cultures. I'm in Mauritius. Mauritius is a French colony that now they had they had Chinese people come through here, conquer it. They had the South Africans come through, conquer it. They don't know what the hell they are, to be honest with you. But you come here and the people are happy. They got good food. And the margaritas, he made some special spicy margaritas.
Yeah, I can tell. It's Adam Jones joining us. Uncle Ruckus joining us this morning. Look, I think it all comes from a good place. Adam Jones is a good guy. But I think the blowback was, hey, I didn't play baseball. I'm not rich, and I understand that perspective too.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I want to ask you about Adam Jones, the baseball player, and what Adam Jones, the baseball player, would have thought about some of these new rules. Because I got to say, I said it 6 weeks ago when, we were watching spring training games and they were told, hey, call this stuff to the letter of the law, get these guys ready. As I'm watching yesterday, our beloved superstar and your friend, Manny Machado, gets tossed from the game. Yep. Looked like he called time. Mm-hmm. Adam Jones, I watched you play a ton, but I couldn't tell you what your walk-up was like, what it took you to get ready to hit in the box. Would this have bugged you a little bit, these new rules?
Well, to start that, I want to say that one of my good friends is Eddie Rayner out of Arizona, the first girl I ever met in professional sports. Nothing happened, okay? Let's just get that out there. Nothing happened. We're still friends to this point. She's traveled more countries than I have, and she doesn't have the money that I have. Let's be honest with ourselves. Now, let's go to the real point. Ron Copa, he gets the ass.
Got the red ass.
Now, with the rules, I've tried. I was in the text with Manny a couple of weeks ago, and I was next to Manfred at the WBC, and I said, Rob, Mr. Manfred, Manny, a superstar, because I said this: the superstars were gone. They were there for the first week of spring training. Everyone left. So Manny made a joke. Oh, it's cool. Yeah, I'm going to start the season with the first strike and all that. That sounded great. In February 26th. That sounded beautiful. It happened during the regular season. He's pissed, he gets tossed. This was the whole entire thing that I said to Rob, is that the superstars are back. Some adjustments need to be made. I think that some adjustments will be made, but again, MLB is going to maintain how they're policing baseball and the new rules until, I believe, 4 to 6 weeks, until they read the data and they see how the game is going. Because as of now, the games are going crisp. They're going clean. Most people are happy. There's been unfortunate incidents. Again, Manny, a superstar, being called out on a strike. But the games are going crisp, and I think that guys need to adjust to these new rules because they're not going away. Trust me, I believe that, and as a player, I hope that it's an artistic sport where you get to express yourself, but at the same time, you got to express yourself in a short amount of time because the clock is on you. And I think that, unfortunately, Manny's going to have to understand that. And, trust me, it sucks.
It sucked yesterday. It really did. It sucked to see it. And again, I said it to Ben because you were always in favor. I've been on the fence, and not because I love 4.5 hour games. I don't, man. I do morning radio. I like a quick game as best as the next guy. But if I take that hat off, and then watch that game yesterday, and I said, look, I already think that umpires have a little too much discretion at times, and now we're giving them more power, more discretion, and you saw it yesterday. The man had his hand up in time, was not granted time, And now they're out of the inning. He's get tossed out of the game. He called him a DB, which, it's not something you want to call another man. I get it. It's the first inning, though, and throwing out a superstar in the first inning. And guess whose spot it comes to with the game on the line? Manny Machado's. And, what if we lost the division by one game? Can you point to that and say it was guaranteed it's because of that loss? No, obviously, it's baseball. But, man, you're changing the outcome of games without pitches even being thrown. That to me is just killing me right now. It's killing me. I don't care how fast the games are.
You pointed out this morning, like that's a strikeout.
That's now
for Zach Gallen.
That's a strikeout. He gets a strikeout for not throwing a pitch. And who loves their stats and holds them so sacred more than the game of baseball? Nobody. Basketball doesn't, football doesn't, golf doesn't. But now we're just giving strikeouts away because a guy wasn't engaged.
And the thing is that Manny was engaged. He's engaged.
Staring at him.
And that's why the rules are, again, that's my whole biggest argument. I sat with Sabathia at dinner. We confronted each other for 3 hours straight about this. And the ultimate, I was like, Fifi, if it's the eighth inning and I need to lock myself in, second and third, one out, man on third, he said, well, you need to get your shit locked in within 15 seconds. I said, ain't no chance. I'm getting myself like, I need 30. I don't care what you say. I'm going to step off. I need time because this is a big situation.
It's a moment. Yep. It's a moment.
Obviously, the pitcher is going to go into a different phase, and he is a Hall of Famer. So I just shut up after he said that, and I just said, yeah, whatever. But it's the hitters. There's going to be rule changes. Now, can I say when and where? No. But when games are decided in the 7th through 9th inning by a strikeout, when a pitch is not thrown, there's going to be backlash, no matter how you shape it.
Yep.
That's why I think MLB is just gathering the data and seeing how games are going, and then they will determine how things are going forward. Because, again, if Manny Machado strikes out with not taking the pitch, and no pitch is thrown in the bottom 8th inning in September, he's going to do what?
He's going to flip out, man. He's going to flip out.
Exactly. Baseball will flip out. Not just San Diego Padres baseball. Not just all baseball will flip out because as a competitor, we want to see the result. We want to see the pitch thrown.
Yes.
We want to see Kenny hit it.
Of course.
We want to see that. If no pitch is thrown, that eliminates it all.
Adam, we'll let you get back to that beautiful moon over East Africa and your Mauritius trip, and keep bringing us the world until we can get our chance to travel it for ourselves. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you, bud.
Appreciate you. I'm golfing on the course that DP World Tour played tomorrow, and I'm probably going to shoot about a 206.
Well, have fun doing it.
Yeah, have fun. Adam Jones.
Uncle Ruckus.
Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. I'll tell you, there's a question that I wanted to ask Adam, but I wasn't sure he would be able to keep the answer clean. So I'm going to wait until he's on a more closer time zone to us to ask it. But what's the line with umpires? How do you figure that out when you're a player? When you want to argue, when you want to say something, how do you know what's going to get you tossed, what's not? Obviously Manny wanted to express his displeasure yesterday. You mentioned it was pretty clear based on the lip reading what Manny called Ron Kulpa. Yeah. And Ron Kulpa was clearly very irritated by that enough that he tossed Manny Machado from the game. He didn't have to toss Manny Machado from the game.
Frankly, baseball fans, he used a word that is no good with umpires.
Exactly. And it wasn't even that word.
Right.
It was a different word entirely. But my biggest problem always is it's not just
is it anything personal that gets you ejected? If Manny Machado had said, hey, you're such a jerk, is that because it's
You're
personal?
a loser.
Is
that cause for ejection? Does it have to get uncouth to get you ejected from a game? What really is the line for most umpires? And shouldn't there be a bit of a standard, or is it just hey, depending on how hot-headed the umpire is, you just don't know what you can get away with that day? Is that okay that baseball has such a random, capricious system of who gets to play and who doesn't get to play?
There's a variance. And for those of you that don't know, if you're not on Twitter or Instagram or anything like that, and you haven't seen the clip, from a few years ago of the Houston Astros all kind of grousing from the dugout about a very bad pitch call by Ron Culpa. So pitch is down. You see all of them go, like, come on, right? He rips his mask off. He walks towards the dugout. That is a man with thin skin. I am a man with thin skin. I don't have the temperament to be an umpire. I don't, which is, guess what I don't do for a living? Umpire. Ron Culpa then, at that moment, AJ Hinch came out to say, dude, what are you doing? Why are you walking towards our dugout? And the quote, I will never forget it as long as I live, I can do whatever I want. You heard him yesterday barking at Torey Lovullo. You could hear it as clear as day. Rips his mask off. He gave a little extra time for the bat boy to get back out of play. And Torey Lovullo's like, yo, start the clock. Let's go. I thought we were doing this clock thing. Rips his mask off. I'm going to run my game my way. Now, you have to have some of that in you. You don't necessarily need to say it, but you need to be able to express, hey, Torey, bat boy's out here after the inning. Torey, bat boy's out here. I'm going to give him a little extra time. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. Understood? Great. It's a power trip. It's an ego. He's too sensitive to be an umpire in the big leagues. He clearly is. And again, those are just words from Manny as Manny is walking away. You threw out a $30 million a year superstar in the first inning because, again, if I'm Manny, I have a legitimate beef. Dude, number one, I'm staring at the pitcher. So my gloves may not be on, my bat may not be ready. I called time. I get a timeout every at bat. I get it. You didn't give it to me. Why not? Why not? I would have been twice as mad as Manny yesterday. Twice as mad.
Well, we've got the next 30 minutes kind of open. I want to take some phone calls from Padres fans on what they saw, perceived yesterday, especially in that first inning with Manny Machado and Ron Culpa. If you want to join us here during the break, call in 833-288-0973. I've got some more thoughts on this. We'll take your phone calls coming up as well. Kicking off the second half of Ben and Woods next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Manny's just been called out for an automatic third strike. He called time, and now he and Ron Culpa are discussing it. Bob Melvin's coming out, but this is not reviewable. It's not going to change. Manny has just taken an automatic third strike, and so it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the first. I saw him ask for time. Bob Melvin's been ejected, and now Manny's coming back towards Culpa, which nobody needs. Got to keep him in the game. Third base coach Mike Schilt in the vicinity as well. And Bob Melvin's been tossed for the first time this year.
Wednesday. It's April 5th. Ben and Woods 97.3. The Phantom Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, our executive producer. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. And yeah, there's a little bit of debate even off the air in here about what's going on in the game of baseball right now. And, you know, we love to talk about on sports radio. We talk a lot about the spirit of rules and, you know, the old slid into the bag and your foot popped off for a millisecond, but the glove was on you and you're now out. That goes against kind of the spirit of replay. That being said, this to me, like it's making me anti the new rules again, whereas I had kind of come around on it a little bit. And now I'm watching this again going, that's not baseball.
Well,
man.
you know, and you bring up the example of that, you know, split second off the bag, but at least that part of the game, it's fundamental to the game. You know, you're safe, you're out. You're touching the base, you're not touching the base. These new rules are so untested that we don't even really know. I mean, it's a little bit nebulous even when it says the batter has to be engaged at 8 seconds. Well, what,
not even a little bit nebulous.
What
it's
exactly
nebulous.
does that mean? And by the way, you heard Jesse's call. Obviously, it looked as though Bob Melvin, you know, was the one who got ejected because he was the one kind of engaged in arguing with Ron Culpa on the ejection, but it was really Manny, of course, as we know later, who's the one who got tossed as he was walking away, saying under his breath or back at Ron Culpa, calling him a DB, and that got him tossed from the game. But, you know, was there a better way? Is there a better way for baseball to handle, you know, the batter engagement part of the new rule without giving up what they like about this, and that is the faster paced games and more action?
Paulie, you have that audio of Manny talking about it, yeah? All right, I want to hear that. Let's hear that because we just got a tweet, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Mason Your Face tweets, has everyone calmed down enough yet to admit that Ron Culpa is an ass, but yesterday's ejection was 100% on Manny or nah? So I think there was a part of me when I watched it that said, oh, dude, you can't get tossed there. Now, I love Manny, you know that. But there is a part of me that goes, dude, you can't get tossed.
Did the umpire give him a little leeway, because technically arguing balls and strikes is an automatic ejection?
Well, but imagine arguing a ball and strike when the pitch isn't even effing thrown.
I understand.
That's the tough part.
You've seen it in the past where like a manager will say something from the dugout even.
Yeah.
And if you say anything about balls and strikes, you are eligible for ejection.
So I think, you know, if you're Manny Machado and you're Bob Melvin and you're Ryan Christensen and you're all those guys, you know who's on the dish that day, right? Which, by the way, that does not make it right. That does not make it right. Oh, crap. Angel's back there. Everyone mind your P's and Q's. No, a ball is a ball and a strike should be a strike. But we all know that that's not the case.
Shouldn't be two different ball games.
Two different rules. And
two different sports.
Let's be honest. When C.B. Buckner, when Doug Eddings, when Ron Culpa, when Joe West, when he was working, when Angel Hernandez, when they're behind the dish, do you not know this game's going to suck? For the pitcher, for the hitter, don't you know this game's going to suck today? This sucks. This sucks. Be ready. We say there are guys in freaking adult league where you go, be ready to hack, dude, because he's calling literally everything that's close. So be ready to hack. That's not right either. We're talking about professionals here.
Well, I think my big issue and what I saw is that all you can ask is everyone do what you're responsible to do. For the pitcher, your responsibility is to throw the ball before the pitch clock expires and to wait until the batter is ready at 8 seconds to throw the ball. For the batter, your responsibility is to either be ready at 8 seconds or use your timeout before 8 seconds. And, in that situation. For the umpire, what's your responsibility? It's to be aware of the batter. And if he's trying to call time and he's allowed to do that, and Manny was absolutely within his right to call time there. The pitcher wasn't starting his motion. He hadn't, it wasn't like one of those, oh, it's so late, it's too late to call time.
Right.
Ron Culpa was apparently unaware and not paying attention. The only person who didn't do their job correctly yesterday was Ron Culpa. And then he expanded on that problem. He made it even worse, exacerbated the problem by losing then his temper and ejecting Manny Machado. So that's what bothers me the most, that the only person who failed, it wasn't Manny. Manny was there. He saw that 8 seconds was coming up. I needed to adjust his glove. So he was going to call his one time out there, asked for it. Ron Culpa apparently wasn't paying attention. To me, that should be cause for discipline from Major League Baseball. The umpire did not do his job in that circumstance.
We know how Major League Baseball disciplines their umpire.
Nothing happens to them. Nothing.
Here's what Manny had to say yesterday.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm just doing what the rules are said. I had 8 seconds to call timeout. I called it at 8 seconds. He did not give it to me, and now I got struck out. Hurt my team by coming out the game and getting tossed there. And I feel like I didn't do anything wrong. I called 8 seconds. The rules are you got to be in there. You got to be engaged in the pitch. If you're not engaged, you call your timeout and you take your timeout before 8 seconds. If it's after 8 seconds, 7, obviously you get penalized for it, but I called it, as you can see, and everyone's seen. My hand was up at 8 seconds for my time, and I guess I just wasn't good enough to get awarded for it. So
when umpires are becoming the stars of the game, that's a problem. You see it, Ben, there was a little bit of consternation about the Aztecs win, one of their wins. Who was the last play? Was it Creighton?
Yeah, against
Creighton.
The foul called on Darion Trammell.
Yeah, which, by the way, it was
put him on the free throw line.
It was a foul. I don't remember that referee's name. I have no idea what his name is. Playoffs in football, it was a ticky-tack call, maybe a pass interference. I don't remember those guys' names. I get it. There's a lot more of these games.
Huge call.
Huge call.
The guy's name was publicized a few times. I've forgotten.
Of course.
The judge's name who called the pass interference.
Yeah.
Late in the Super Bowl.
We're to the point now in baseball
where the holding. Yeah.
Yeah. We're to the point now in baseball where it's like, the almost semi-casual fan is like, I've heard of CB Buckner. This isn't going to go. Doug Eddings and his literal personal problem with the San Diego Padres. I mean, these are storylines now in the game of baseball. And I understand it's a tough job. I do. But man, you just to run him there for that is just a little odd, especially like you said, when you're the one that's not paying attention to grant him time.
Can I say that I don't 100% believe Manny when he says he didn't want to get thrown out of the game, because I think part of me thinks that Manny may have wanted to make a bigger point about this.
Yeah.
And to do so, he may have realized he needs
to get tossed.
Make a bit of a scene here, because I think he knows when you call an umpire a dirty name, you're going to usually get ejected. So Manny's smart enough to know that was a possibility when he said that. He thought, it's the first inning. There's no way he's going to throw me out here in the first inning, but clearly it was a possibility, especially he knows a hair trigger guy like Ron Culpa. You do anything.
But that's
you
can
do that. Now,
not to belabor the point, that's a problem in and of itself. That is a problem in and of itself. That's a deeper problem. The fact that, it's Ron Culpa back there, we better mind our P's and Q's, is a problem. That's a problem. I don't know how you could look at it any other way than, better not say DB to Ron Culpa or he's going to run me, when I can, will say it to 100 other guys. Like, the fact that Ron Culpa is the issue going into the game is a problem. That means he's got too much of a finger on the pulse of a Major League Baseball game.
And this is where I give the NFL credit. We brought it up before. How many times have you seen a head coach absolutely screaming at one of the sideline officials who wasn't even the guy who made the call? He's just the nearest one.
Just wearing it.
And how many times have you seen an NFL head coach get thrown out of a game?
I mean, somebody
Never.
brought up
It's never happened.
Somebody brought up one guy did, and I'm like, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. Like, I think about
NBA head coaches, like
rarely.
more than the NFL, but
Sure.
way less than baseball, and they will run to the other side of the court. Like they'll go all the way down the sideline,
screaming.
You get an actual little box.
You get two technical fouls if you're a player before you're ejected in the NBA.
Yes,
which does happen. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
you know it happens when people really lose their cool. But is there a way? Hey, that's the first technical foul on Manny. You know, it happens again. He's out.
You're
of the
out.
game.
Yeah, you say one more word.
And
That's, it's called a warning. And
in the NBA,
typically
if
they do
If it's
that.
bad enough, you get a double tech right away.
Right.
If it's bad enough, if Manny struck the umpire or something,
Of
that's
course.
obviously
Right.
you're not going to get just one. That's a double technical,
Double
ejection,
technical.
suspension, and all that. But yeah, I think in the case like yesterday, something like the technical system would be great.
To me, well, Mark Loretta, by the way, our beloved Mark Loretta had the, and I'd seen this before. I think somebody made this point in spring training. It's brilliant. I mean, this is it. Seems to me that a logical tweak to the pitch clock rule should be that a hitter's first violation should count as his timeout if he hasn't already used it. Great. So in that case, the umpire would say, buddy, Manny, sorry, I got to bang you with a timeout here because you weren't engaged to my liking, or your batting glove wasn't fastened or whatever. Your timeout's gone. You got a 3-2 count in this case, and we're going to go from there.
Would it be fair if also the pitcher got one warning per inning on a pitch count violation? Like, hey, we had a pitch com little issue here. I got a little bit behind, and yes, I hit 0 this once. Should I get a ball on the first one, or do I get a warning per inning on a pitch clock? Like, I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
Well, you're
Keeps
already
the game moving, but you're not getting. You'd see so many less because at most you're seeing 1 or 2 of these a game.
Yeah.
If those turned into warnings, and yet the game remained at the same speed essentially, because we're just talking once, not 6 times, just once. I think that's a phenomenal solution to the potential issue. The other one we talked about, we're going to get to these phone calls here as well. If the batter knows that the pitcher can throw starting at 8, and the umpire's not going to stop him, and he's not ready, and the umpire's not going to stop the pitcher, guess what? The batter will be ready because he doesn't want a pitcher to just throw one down the middle while he's not looking. So why even penalize the batter? If you're not looking, your penalty is
on you. It's
the
strike.
pitcher can throw a strike if he wants to, and I'm not going to stop him because you're not ready.
Paulie
You know
showed
when
me-
you're supposed to be ready.
Paulie showed me a absolutely incredible TikTok of Max Scherzer, who is now learning to game the pitch clock. So what he does, what did he do? So he had the ball, pitcher.
So batter steps into the box and is ready to hit. Max is set and ready to pitch. Let's say there's 19 seconds left on the
So
clock.
he jumps on the rubber early and he waits.
And waits.
And you're up there going, oh God, oh God,
And
oh
just
God,
like
oh God.
every hitter has done for 100 years, after a few seconds, you're like, all right,
You get unnerved.
break it up, call timeout. Now the batter has burned his timeout.
He's used his
So
timeout.
what does Max Scherzer do? He stays on the mound set because he knows as soon
Is that
as
left
that batter has both feet in the box, he can
He
pitch.
can throw.
And he catches the batter off guard and he's late to the pitch.
It's
and a
beyond.
strike.
It's beyond brilliant. He's not breaking
But
any rules.
they've also tried to eliminate. We saw it with Nabil Krismat yesterday. That hey, you're trying to throw too fast. The umpire is going to warn you. And he got dinged with a ball that ended up leading to a walk.
Yes.
That ended up extending an inning. That
Yes.
ended up with another run being scored to tie the game for the Diamondbacks.
The umpires have too much discretion. They already have an ass load of discretion behind the plate. They were not challenging their ball and strike calls. They have so much discretion. They can already turn a game. We're giving them more power. That doesn't make sense. They're not equipped for it.
Let's get to some of these phone calls. 833-288-0973. Let's start with Alfredo. You're first up here with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So,
Good morning, everybody.
Manny might have tried to make a point to get tossed the same way when he got the thing in spring training with the violation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, the Padres didn't lose the game on Manny. They lost it with the relievers.
Yes.
That doesn't make it any better. But that umpire is part of a small group of. Oh man, Adam Jones already used a curse word, so
I pick up what you're putting down. Yeah, we're good.
so I don't know, man. I mean, like those, it's infuriating as a fan. I cannot even imagine what it would be like being the one at the plate.
I can't either.
To make like it's like what if. Like if there's already contempt going in because you already know who's behind the plate,
Yeah,
going to be calling the balls and strikes.
That's tough, dude.
I mean, like now
you're already
it
on
is,
edge. Yeah.
Yes, 1,000%.
That's
so
tough.
And then to add insult to the injury with calling Nabil and all of that, and then having the relievers lose the game that was partially won by the sixth inning. I mean, like it's
tough.
I don't know.
It's not ruining my favorite game, but man, it's just the unsuredness, right? Like the Nabil situation, guys. That was a train wreck. He's pointing. Nabil's going, what? The batter doesn't know if no one knows what the hell's going on. Jesse, Don, and Mott are like, I think it's a ball. That's not baseball. You get the ball, you throw it down the middle, guy tries to hit it, you call it a day. Like all of this unsureness, the pointing at the pitcher, the pointing to the scoreboard to add a ball, subtract a strike.
You have like umpires with simple. I'm watching the game. I was at Sunday's game watching the umpire. I'm going, and the guy next to me who is a casual fan, he goes, what does it mean when the umpire crosses his hands together? I go, I have no idea.
No idea. I cover this
my-
team for a living. I've got no earthly idea.
what that
None.
means.
None whatsoever. It's not baseball. This is not baseball. It's just not. And you're just putting too much power in the wrong hands.
Be a good caller like Alfredo. He was smart. He knows there's a double standard that Adam Jones can get away with a lot more than you people out there can.
Exactly right.
But that was a good call. We'll get to more of these calls. 833-288-0973. Come back after a quick check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Soul Man. It's not Soul Man? No? All right. I'm a soul man.
He was so
wing and a miss.
He was so convicted.
Hold on, I'm coming. That's what it is.
Save that.
Sam and Dave.
Yep.
See, I got it. It took me a second. I'm dealing with something else here. Actually, could be
a second.
Could be an opportunity for one of our tier ones out there. A very late last minute opportunity, but unfortunately, our pal Craig, who is going to play with me and my dad tomorrow, and bought the twosome to go with us. Something has come up, and he is no longer going to be able to play, and he would like to, if possible, sell his twosome. And I certainly don't want to play by myself. I mean, I love playing with my dad, but it's a scramble. You need
nobody likes playing with themselves.
You want to have a couple more guys to, anyone to have a chance to win this thing tomorrow. So if you didn't get in and are still looking for a way to play in the Ben and Woods Open, contact me on social media, and then I'll set up a DM and can get you in contact with Craig if you want to possibly take his spot tomorrow at Rancho Bernardo Inn. So at Ben Higgins SD or at Ben and Woods, you can contact us. And if you are trying to get in last minute, this is a opportunity. Spots went very fast, so I know there are people out there who are hoping to play, and maybe you don't have anything going tomorrow and would like to play. It's a 1:00 shotgun. Tee off in the afternoon. If you can get tomorrow afternoon off, this is your chance for you and a friend to get in tomorrow for the tournament.
Yep. I don't want to put more pressure on Paulie, but should they call either, or just social media or email or something?
Yeah, just social media. We'll find, and then at that point, I'll start a DM thread with the appropriate email and contact information for everybody.
Okay.
But I'll keep an eye out for that today, and hopefully we'll find someone.
Yeah, get a couple ringers in there for you.
That wouldn't be bad. Not at all.
You are the ringer.
You are the ringer.
All right, let's
you could literally never have played the game of golf and probably do pretty good tomorrow.
Yeah, Ben's he's going to carry
Just
you.
use his shot every time.
Let's get back out to these phone lines before Tim Haggerty's going to join us. He's the voice of the El Paso Chihuahuas, called Fernando Tatis Jr. season debut last night. Here in about 10 minutes, we got Nick on the line. Nick, welcome to Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning.
Good morning, boys. I'm actually about to tee it up for my practice round for tomorrow in preparation.
Beautiful. We're teeing off in about 3 hours, so we are right there with you.
Well done.
Tough couple days.
Well, hey, on the whole Ron Culpa thing, I just wanted to make one little point. Some stuff I've seen on Twitter. I'm real tired of seeing Manny should just get in the box.
He was in the box.
He should just hurry up. He knows the rule. My point is, his job is hard enough. If he needs a second with 2 strikes, he should get it.
Yeah.
Now, whether he put his hand up at 8 seconds or 7.5 seconds, I just feel like there should be some nuance. The most nuanced sport there is, right? We have unwritten rules. So give him time out. I think, like you said, Woodsy, or like Ben said, I think, Ron Copel not doing his job. Pay attention, right? If the rule says 8 seconds and Manny puts it up at 7.89 seconds, I think there should be some room for error there.
If he puts it up at 8.3, I mean, seriously, right. It's the whole.
Heck, the way it's written now, he could put it up at 11. Ron Culpa could stare at him for 4 seconds and bang him for a strike.
Yeah.
Just because he wants to.
Yeah, because he wants to.
Is that really the way we want this to be handled?
Right. That's irritating. I don't think it makes sense. And especially when you run into an umpire like Culpa, and like you guys were saying, if you don't know about his acts, go ask AJ Hinch. So I don't know. I think there's a way to fix it. I love Loretta's solution there. I think it's a good one. Thanks for taking the call. And hey, Ben, if nobody picks up that last tee time, I am looking for a partner. So if you want to fill out your foursome, let me know.
Well, see, he's got a twosome already.
Well, there you go. If you're a single, you can get one of them and then join with Baseball Nick possibly.
But he's already on a team.
That's true. That just creates a different hole somewhere else.
That's exactly right. You're robbing Peter
to pay Paul.
So
Paul, why do you always get paid in this scenario?
And Peter always gets robbed.
Sorry about it.
Why don't we ever rob Paul?
Let's rob Paul
and pay Ben.
Well, I don't know that works either.
Not the expression.
I don't think that's a saying.
That's not a saying.
All right.
It's not a thing.
Let's see. Go to Bob. Bob, you are next up on 97.3 The Fan before the bottom of the hour here.
Good morning, Bob.
Hey, good morning. My first reaction to that
was this comment about I'm going to run my game.
Yes.
It's not his effing game. That's
true.
the point. That's the problem with the umpires from there, and everything else Woody said. That's it right there. I believe. Do I think that he intentionally tried to get thrown? I don't know. I think he was livid about not getting the timeout. Probably that, and then of course following up, not giving him the timeout with a strikeout. I'm surprised he only got called a DB. Honestly, I coached travel. It's a different thing, but in the travel thing, we had pretty good umpires for the most part. I got tossed one time for challenging the strike zone, in 10 years. But we would have called Ron Culpa a rec league umpire.
Yeah, it's tough, man. That
you know
is,
what? That's what he is.
You make
He's
a good
rec league umpire.
You make a good point because again, look, an umpire needs to have control. Okay, they do. There needs to be. It can't be a free for all with managers running out of the dugout and complaining about every ball and strike. You do need to set the tone, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, you make a really good point. It's not your game, Ron. That game actually belongs to the fans and the players and the people that paid their money, the people that pulled their kids out of school to go see Manny Machado play baseball yesterday. For some of them, it could be their only chance to see Manny Machado. Also, yes, Manny needs to know that as well, and he said it. He said, I let my team down by getting thrown out there. So I think there's a lot of culpability to go around. Culpability. There shall be no mea culpa from Ron Culpa. I promise you that. You won't hear a word from that guy. He went straight to the Hilton bar and started sucking down old fashions, and he's going to go out and blow a call at first base today or wherever he is.
Yeah, the point about it being my game, the umpires are the stewards of the game.
Correct.
They're trying to make sure the game is played fairly.
It's more my game than it is his.
And ideally, every umpire would do so almost identically in every single game. They'd all be interchangeable. There would be no difference in the strike zones. There would be no difference in the temperament. They would be faceless, anonymous guys who were there just doing their job and otherwise were unnoticeable by players, coaches, and fans. The fact, again, that these guys are running their game, and we know who their names are, especially the bad ones. Shout out again to Pat Hoberg, like the good one.
The guy's the GOAT, dude.
Is a problem for baseball.
Pat Hoberg is incredible.
Potters had him earlier this week.
He's somebody I will take my kids.
Guess what?
To
No
watch
problems in that
umpire.
game.
Yeah, zero.
No,
On like
no
a
problems in that game.
99% report card. He's incredible.
All right.
Be like Pat.
Tim Haggerty is going to join us, the voice of the El Paso Chihuahuas. Good game last night, not just for Fernando Tatis Jr., but he had a nice debut in AAA as he gets ready to finish off his suspension in AAA. We'll hear about him. We got his book coming out or just out now as well. We'll talk to Tim Haggerty next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Happy belated birthday, yeah.
To her yesterday, she covers the Cardinals in the Cardinal Way for The Athletic. She's fantastic. We love her dearly. Dude, we told you about the story earlier about Tyler O'Neill getting called out by his manager yesterday, Oli Marmol. Tyler O'Neill not in the lineup today. And he said, quote, there is a standard here. You meet it, you play. You don't, you don't.
I think
6 games in.
And I don't want anything to be unclear. I think if an athlete is not giving his all, it's an absolutely fair response by the manager. The issue here is that it's not that clear that Tyler O'Neill was dogging it or not hustling on that play.
That's the and Tyler O'Neill's like, what is he talking about? I was busting my ass. Like,
metrics wise, we had the stat that was pointed out that the speed numbers around third were certainly pretty good. Actually,
yes, very fast.
We don't know exactly what did Oli Marmol see or know that we're missing here.
Feels like something might have happened behind the scenes, maybe
yesterday after the game. Like, hey man, what call me out for? All right, does that mean Tyler O'Neill is on the trade block? And are we interested, AJ Preller? Man, that's pretty spicy stuff for baseball. That's really spicy from a manager this early in the season. And usually it would be something like, yeah, we talked about it, decided to give him the day. You know, we had some conversations behind closed doors, but man, to come right out and say it like he did yesterday and then back it up today, woo, Oli Marmol, not to be messed with.
We are in full countdown mode for the return of Fernando Tatis Jr. to the big leagues. He started his minor league rehab, quote-unquote, assignment last night in AAA. We'll talk with the voice of the El Paso Chihuahuas, Tim Haggerty, right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Buick GMC of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the all-new Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad. Got a collision clearing up on westbound King Freeway just before Federal. And guys, no official confirmation, but they should be reopening the westbound lanes of the 78 between College and El Camino Real. So brace yourself, though. Eastbound lanes are going to be shut down through that stretch so they can do some pothole repair there. So this afternoon's commute could prove to be a challenging one. Brought to you by Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad with brand new 2023 Cadillac XT4s and XT5s in stock now. Stop in or shop online at CadillacCarlsbad.com, a proud member of the Premier Carlsbad family of dealers. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I actually got to see Fernando Tatis Jr.'s single last night in AAA. They were live streaming it on the Chihuahuas Twitter feed. It was choppy. It was about the worst video, but I did get to see it live.
Sorry, Tim.
Sort of.
Sorry, Tim.
But Tim got to call it absolutely live right in front of. Well, is he in charge of the Twitter stream? I thought it was a Twitter issue.
Pretty much the worst broadcast I think I've ever seen in my life. Anyways, this is the broadcast.
It was someone. It wasn't like the official broadcast. It was someone like holding a cell phone camera, I think, or something from the side of the dugout. I figured it was a Twitter issue, not a Tim Haggerty issue. I wasn't blaming.
So I was.
Sorry,
yeah, you're not really starting with the softball question here. So the Chihuahua social media person was using Wi-Fi, and I'm told that it was opening night in Sacramento, and I'm told that because they had such a big crowd, it was pulling a lot of the Wi-Fi. So good equipment, but spotty Wi-Fi was the issue there.
Yeah, I figured it was a non-related issue. I got to see it.
What's that 19-year-old intern's name? Ben would like them fired.
Roast them publicly.
We got Tim Haggerty on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Tim, thank you for joining us this morning. It's good to talk to you again.
Yeah, likewise.
Well, how did our beloved sweet prince look last night? We're all waiting with bated breath to get him back, and saw him a little bit in spring training, and really started really slowly, and then found that stroke at the end that was fun to see. And of course, he was peaking right at the time he had to shut it all down and go to El Paso.
I think he looks strong. You look in the box score, and it was 1 for 2 with 2 walks and an RBI single. There was 1 ground ball into a double play, but the ground ball into a double play was 106 miles an hour off the bat. It was a smash right at the shortstop. Was taking a lot of pitches with those 2 early walks. Looked comfortable in right field. So from what I saw, I thought it was a great first rehab game. I'm told he's going to play 7 innings again tonight, like he did last night. And then there's a scheduled day off on Thursday. But the Chihuahuas still get some star power because on Thursday, the starting pitcher here is Joe Musgrove.
Amazing.
So Tim, I'm curious about the reception and reaction, because this was the first AAA game that Fernando Tatis Jr. ever played. He skipped right over El Paso on the way to the big leagues his first time up. So What was it like for the crowd to get to see Tatis last night?
In his first at bat, there was a lot of cheers. In his second at bat, I heard more boos. In the third one, it was a sort of a mixed response. So Sacramento really couldn't make up their mind. That's what surprised me, is that it really varied at bat to at bat, and overall, I'd say it was mixed.
Tim, don't be surprised. We have diehard Padre fans that still can't make up their mind on how they feel about Fernando Tatis Jr., much less from the visiting side. Yeah, I mean, did he any chances out there in right last night?
Yes, the routine plays looked comfortable. There was a line drive toward the line on his forehand that he really lunged for and almost made a great running catch, but it did skip past him. It was not a misplay. It would have been an amazing catch. So it was looking strong defensively. And when it comes to the fan reaction, I also thought he really seemed to want to make a good impression. He was signing autographs as recently as 10 minutes before the game, and he was the leadoff hitter. So he was signing autographs 10 minutes before he was in the batter's box. So a lot of kids seemed excited about that, as you might imagine.
I saw that a couple of the guys who had good springs for the Padres have started out pretty well for the Chihuahuas. Tim Lopes, Taylor Colway, getting off to good starts this season.
Yeah, Taylor Colway, especially last night, went 3 for 4 with a double, a home run, 5 RBIs. And that was good to see. As you guys probably know, he was right there in San Diego. He did not come to El Paso right away with the rest of the AAA players. He was in the mix to potentially make the opening day roster, which would be an amazing story. He was drafted out of a Division III school in Wisconsin. A nice find by the Padres, and he's become a real prospect.
Talking to Tim Haggerty, voice of the El Paso Chihuahuas, very deep and rich voice from Tim Haggerty as well this morning. You're sounding great. So yeah, I mean the talent that AJ Preller has amassed on the big league level certainly is something to marvel at. It really is. But talk a little bit about the depth and some of the guys that you really like, maybe that we haven't heard about down at AAA.
Yeah, I look at the pitching. Jay Groom, El Paso's opening night starter. I know you guys saw him at the spring training.
Yep.
But to me, he's somebody that would be a major league starter with half of the major league teams right now. But because the Padres have such a veteran star rotation, he's here in AAA. So as far as some other guys, I think you mentioned Tim Lopes. He's off to a great start. There's a big, strong guy here, Rangel Ravello, who was born in Cuba. He played in the major leagues with the St. Louis Cardinals. Philip Wellman, El Paso's manager, is talking about how physically strong he is. Wouldn't be surprised if somebody like that makes a cameo in the big leagues if there's ever a need. So, to me, it's a really interesting El Paso team. There's a bunch of guys that have been to the majors. It's an older AAA team. Out of the 28 players here, 19 have been in the big leagues. And if you look at contending teams, that's what they do. If there's a need for a fill-in player, I think a lot of general managers want someone who's been under those bright lights before.
That reminds me, I saw a stat last night. Is this true that Fernando Tatis Jr. was the second youngest player on the field last night? It was only by a few days.
Yes. It's amazing how young some stars are. I was thinking about that yesterday, and this is no slight to Taylor Colway, but we talk about Taylor Colway potentially making his major league debut. We talk about Fernando Tatis being as established as he is. Tatis is 4 years younger than Colway. And I was thinking about that with Juan Soto. Somebody like Colway is 4 years older than Juan Soto. And again, that's not a knock. There's plenty of guys that make it to the majors and they're late 20s and they stick for a handful of years. And I think that could happen with Taylor. But it's just amazing. Some players rise so quickly. I was thinking that recently. You guys remember Robbie Erlin, the Padres pitcher? He was like that. He got to AAA very young. He got to the majors young. And I saw him last season pitching against El Paso. And I looked down and I was sure he was going to be 35 years old. And he's only 30. I mean, he was with the Padres in 2013, and he's still only 30.
Rougie Odor, I feel like, has been in the league since I was a little kid, and they're like, he's 28 years old. I'm like, what?
Conversely, Jake Cronenworth still feels like a younger player.
He does. He's 29.
And he just got rewarded, but he's already 29 and, just got his first big contract extension. Tim Haggerty, voice of the Chihuahuas, is with us. I wanted to ask you one more thing. I know he's not there now. He's with the Padres, but Ryan Weathers, you got to see him a lot last year. We barely saw him at all. And I looked at his AAA numbers, obviously, last year, and I go, well, that looks horrible. I mean, that's like a 6.4 ERA or something like that in El Paso. And I felt like, well, his prospect status must be completely done. And then we saw him this spring and looked pretty good. He obviously made camp and did a nice job in his first start a couple of days ago. for the Padres. What was that story? And watching him work on stuff last year that's got him back to this point where he's in the big leagues.
That was a big question last season. Someone with the Padres told me they felt that sometimes he perhaps was thinking about the hitter conditions that the Pacific Coast League is known for, trying to be too precise, and with that came a lot of pitches over the middle of the plate. From what I understand, he worked on some mechanical issues in the offseason, showed up using a windup over his cap, which he did not do last year, and really was rigorous with training. So I think he came to spring training a different pitcher compared to last summer. And there's another guy who made it to the majors so young, and it's a good example. Just because there's some bumps between age 21 and 24 doesn't mean you can stick in the rotation and maybe be a major league starter for a while.
Finally, Woods loves nothing more than promoting baseball books on this show.
I do.
So we talked to you about it a few months ago, but give us more on Tales of the Dugout and how it's going with the new book.
Yeah, it came out 1 week ago. It's 1001 minor league stories with a lot of illustrations. There's some crazy stuff in there from the past.
He'll go into the bookstore and he'll book and put them back on the shelves. If you ever see your book, you should do that. Just sign it and then leave it there on social media for someone to find.
Also, move your book into a prominent sight line.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a no-brainer. If I had a book, that's what I'd spend the day.
Right to the front table.
Back in radio, they used to do a thing where they would go to like Best Buy and put their radio station on all of the on all of your stations. Yeah, I mean, you do whatever you got to do, Tim, to sell some books. Don't look at the numbers yet. Just let it ride for a while and then go be pleasantly surprised, my friend. But we certainly thank you for your time. Your deep, rich voice is always very soothing, and your insight as well. So we really appreciate you.
Well, thanks for having me, and I love your voices too.
Oh, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Tim Haggerty on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. All right, I don't want to say that this show has an outsized impact on the sports scene here in San Diego now, but did you notice yesterday that that San Diego State quietly had some logistical issues with their planned parade downtown, and plans are all of a sudden no longer necessarily firm. They may not do a parade anymore for the Aztecs.
Sports radio hosts like me tend to take credit for things that they didn't do. Nothing. I've been doing this 5 years. I've never seen, and I'm not necessarily talking about us, I'm talking about others. No one ever likes to take credit.
Well, I think even the Aztecs fans who called in were. It wasn't a 50-50 split. It was like 98-2. Yeah, pretty much everyone who called in said, yeah, we need to celebrate this team, but a parade is the wrong way to do it. And
I think so too.
Even some of the players, when they got back, were asked about it, and they go, no, parades aren't for the second place team. So
So then what are we even talking about? Like we speculated. I wonder what the players think of this, and then to hear them say, no.
You know what they should have done? When the players landed, get them in a room and go, hey, what do you guys think about this? No? All right. It's never going public. No one needs to know. Everyone signed this NDA. We never asked. We never had this conversation. We're going to celebrate you. We're going to have a great time doing it, as you're so deserving of a celebration. But, man, the bullet dodged then. I didn't know that. I did not know the update to that story. I did not know.
Yeah, they still are hoping to finalize plans for some sort of celebration, but it's up in the air. It's up in the air right now, and someone blamed the logistics of downtown, which is fine.
There's a permit, and I didn't get the invitation at the time. Put it on me, guys.
Blaming the city for not getting something done is a pretty safe out.
Safe bet. Very, very well done.
But you know what? It's better than digging in and go, well, we announced it, so now we got to go through with the whole thing. Sometimes, you float the trial balloon and it sinks like a lead balloon, and you go, we can do something else. We have not committed.
It's not even set in stone here.
We did not buy a single piece of confetti yet for this parade. We have not rented any open vehicles for them to drive around downtown in. We're okay changing our plans a little bit.
No all right, bullet dodge.
All right, maybe it wasn't just us. Maybe there were reaction everybody else, but
I'm bleeping brilliant.
But it did feel like people were fairly clear on their desires and wishes yesterday.
Desires were strong. Like an hour at the end of the show yesterday, it's just people losing their minds about it on social media. Which, hey, listen, it sometimes it gets the job.
And that shouldn't be the story. The story should still be the kids and how unbelievable that run was and amazing this season was, and absolutely how we're never going to forget them and celebrate them forever and ever, which we will, just not necessarily with the downtown parade. So there's an update to your story that was we were talking about at this time yesterday here on the Ben and Woods program.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. A no-brainer.
You know what we still need to do?
What's that?
We'll do it before the Rhino Report, maybe.
Oh, Incorporator.
It's an Incorporator Wednesday.
Still haven't paid
Oh.
the Incorporator, for the love of God.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll do that when we come back. Paulie's got some headlines.
Fructify.
Shipnuck. Fructify. You don't want to get them all confused if you're a radio host. We've already had a few problems this morning involving our dump button. Me and Adam Jones have had a few problems. Mine more unintentional than his this morning on the radio. Got to be careful with such things. Paulie's also got some headlines, including a fairly big news from the NFL this morning coming out of Denver, Colorado.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I'd say it's end of an era.
Maybe like a long time coming, but still surprising.
All right, so we'll get to that one more hour. Of course, tomorrow we're going to be out at Rancho Bernardo Inn for our Ben and Woods Open Golf Tournament. Looking forward to seeing everybody out there. Although if you were listening earlier, you know, so I'm also nervous about it. We'll be right back with more Ben and Woods next on 97.3 The Fan. Woods is just going to give you a traditional incorporator word.
Are you
All right,
ready?
Incorporator 1.0. Yeah,
That's
I'm ready.
exactly right. This is just be careful with this one, Jesse. The word
Oh, boy.
is fructify. And it means it's a verb, obviously, and it means to bear fruit, become fruitful. Easy
Okay.
definition in the game of baseball. The word itself, a little dicey.
Fructify. That's the most important R in the history of
In the
broadcasting.
history of the world. What a line. What a line from our beloved Jesse Agler. So, Paulie, people are tweeting and they can't hear me in the YouTube chat. Is your grand plan, both of you, working finally? You're
phase you out.
icing me out. Apparently, my mic is on.
Your camera
we
always
can
turns
still
away
see
from you,
you.
so we're like, okay, we got the camera off. Now we just get the microphone.
Silent.
I don't know. I mean,
Working now. Okay.
Everything should be fine.
good.
The peach tree fructified, and then we turned it into peach ice cream
Yes,
sandwiches.
yes. Mike, good now. Okay, good. All right, here we go. Let's roll.
Yeah, all right. So Incorporator yesterday, first one of the year with Jesse Angler. Woods gave him the word, and Paulie now has our payoff here from yesterday's game against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Jesse Angler.
A lot of people noticed out there when it happened. There was commentary on social media.
Yeah, he texted me in the this is the bottom of the fourth inning. Fructify is the word.
Ha-Sung Kim, who had the game-winning home run, will now come up and try and cap this rally off with a base hit. It's got to feel so good as a manager when those kinds of decisions last night are fructified, and every lever you pull leads to something positive.
Perfect.
Absolutely perfect.
Choosing to pinch hit with David Dahl bore fruit for Bob Melvin in that game.
What do you say? It what do you say? It fructified.
It fructified
the decision.
Yeah,
to bear fruit. Jesse, you're amazing. I loved it, and I think
it's also educational because the way he always uses it, he makes it clear what the word means. It's like he's doing a word of the day segment at the same time, not just throwing it in there for no purpose.
Well, I mean, it's such a good word, and now I know it, and now I can use it myself. Fructify. Right? It's a dicey one to use.
Is very
it's
dicey.
scary.
Yeah.
Fructify, but to bear fruit is that's something I feel like I would say.
Before we get to the Reindl report, you had a visceral reaction at the end of our interview with Tim Haggerty a moment ago, and I'm not
didn't.
sure many of the tier ones noticed what was going on there.
I did not have
You
a
kinda had
visceral.
bit of
I
a-
did
Your
not.
stomach turned a little
No,
bit.
it didn't.
I saw a wince maybe over there. A wince.
It didn't.
You winced.
It's fine. Was funny. Tim Haggerty asked, "You guys remember Robbie Erlin?" And I said, "Yes." My wife went on one date with Robbie Erlin many years
will
ago.
forever be compared to Robbie Erlin.
Big game Bob Erlin.
Your successes and your shortcomings.
Yeah.
Hey, she picked you.
She did.
She picked you. She could have had Big Game Bob.
Yeah.
Instead, went with Radio Steve.
Ugh, what a win. What a dub for her. It was. Yeah. She went on one date with him. They didn't French kiss even. Nothing. Just went to, and he took her to a sports bar. And if you know my wife, there's one thing she despises. It's, well, a sports bar, I would say. So
I heard I had a horrific first date story from my trainer. It wasn't hers.
was that local? Was it a local
I
store?
don't know.
Because I saw
No,
something
this
on
was
the news.
This was a friend of hers from a few years ago. She said that she had a friend who went on a first date. A guy took her to a Padres game.
Okay, good date.
And they went up to the suite, which was very cool. And
Fancy.
like, hey, we're in a suite. And he started drinking the free drinks and
Yep.
got completely wasted after like 3 innings. At which point, security came in and realized they didn't have tickets for the suite at all, and they both got kicked out of the stadium.
He snuck in.
On a first date, he snuck into a suite and just started consuming all their food and beverage on a first date at Petco
That's
Park.
not even good on a ninth date. That's not something you ever really want to do. Is, hey, babe, let's crash this.
He didn't tell her they were crashing
Right.
it.
She didn't know.
No, she thought they had tickets, were there for whatever reason, and enjoying all the.
Did she find it odd when he walked in and everyone's like, who's this
That-
guy?
I don't know.
And he's like,
What-
babe, just help yourself. Don't worry about it. We could do in the off
Oh, that's
season.
Bill from accounting. I hate that guy.
We
Yeah,
can-
don't talk to that guy.
Don't talk to anyone. They all hate me, but we're trust me, we're welcome. I've got the tickets and everything. But you guys just catch the door as it was closing.
I
like,
don't know.
this one looks good. You walk in, see Padres execs in there. What are you doing? We can do
horror dates.
I'm down to do horror dates for sure. Maybe not during baseball season. Maybe during the All-Star break. You'll probably be on vacation, Paul, and I can do that during the All-Star break. I think it's fascinating. I've never had a bad one. I never had
a terrible date either.
I never had a bad.
But I
first
know
date.
people out there did.
Yeah,
so.
guaranteed. And the way dating is now, I see a lot of the of our female tier ones will post the DMs that they get on Twitter, and good God alive, there was a guy.
Jim says legend status right there.
I agree.
There's something legendary about it. I don't quite know what it is. There was a guy the other day, Ben. There's a girl that posted her DMs, and this guy had sent her a bunch of very creepy pictures, including one of him nude, bent down with his hands on his ankles, and it's a rear shot. So just right. And
Here's where the sun don't shine.
Yeah. In what universe does she go, ooh, love to get some of that.
Enjoy.
Good God. Figure it out, guys. Come on, man.
I don't think we ever can understand how bad the ladies have.
I don't think we ever will. I really, really don't. I really don't. Paulie, let's bring us a little Reindl report, pal.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
Right.
All right. We will start off in the NFL. Maybe not a surprising story, but still a little surprising to see it actually happen. John Elway, no longer with the Broncos, been there a long, long time. Different roles with the organization, but his contract ended and it will not be renewed.
I feel like that's huge news today in Denver.
They were, of course, sold. I think it was last summer. We talked about it. They were sold to the Walmart heir or something like that for like $4.5 billion. And his contract as a consultant for the Broncos expired on the first day of the NFL League New Year, which was March 15th. And they did not bring him back. He's been the president. He was the GM, I think, for a while.
I think he was
making all the decisions.
He was making
personnel-wise.
a lot of really poor decisions. As a former great Super Bowl winning quarterback, his eye for the quarterback position, let's just say it wasn't as good as his arm was for the quarterback position.
How many superstar players have really gone on in any sport to become a very successful executive? I can count maybe 2. I mean, Michael Jordan?
No. Derek Jeter?
No. I mean, a lot of these guys try, and it doesn't work out. Jerry West.
Legendary
Legendary basketball
player,
also
excellent executive.
Legendary executive. And then from the NHL, Mario Lemieux.
Yeah.
Great player, and also had a lot of success in the Pittsburgh Penguins front office as well.
And somebody will let us know the rest that we missed on
I'm sure.
Twitter. That's
I mean,
fine.
there's a lot of guys who played a little bit and then became great, like Pat Riley, coaches.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But I wouldn't, for the
Good,
actual superstar
really
Hall of Fame
elite
level
players.
players.
Yeah.
Jordan, Jeter, the Hall of Fame guys. Elway, Hall of Fame guy.
Whether it's coaching or executives. I mean, we said Tony Gwynn. We talked about, great player.
Magic Johnson
was not as good as a coach. Magic Johnson has had some successes, obviously, but also some fairly notable duds in his time as an executive as well.
I will say this about John Elway. My wife went to Denver last year to go see the Rockies play the Padres, and they ate at Elway's Steakhouse. And they sell his steak seasoning. I don't know what's in this, but we bought 40 tins of it. and it's the greatest seasoning I've ever had. On a steak, on a burger, on a pork chop, on a chicken breast. It doesn't matter. You could dip a carrot in there and eat it. You'd be fine. You put a little pinch between your gums. It's phenomenal.
Didn't know we were getting it ahead for John Elway's seasoning this morning.
He needs to focus on his seasoning business. That is where he has really taken the next step.
The proprietary blend of herbs and spices.
It's unbelievable. You want to dip your finger in it and lick it. It's so good. I'll bring you some.
I'm curious.
I'll bring you a pinch because I don't have a lot to spare because I use it a lot.
This is precious.
It's very, very precious.
All right, elsewhere, we go to Major League Baseball. Sandy Alcantara picked up right where he left off from last season.
Wow,
what
dude.
an outing last night for the
I watched
Marlins ace. It was the first complete game of the season in baseball, his first as well. 1-0 win over the Twins, and he threw a 3-hitter, and he did it in less than 2 hours.
It was 157.
157.
Skip Schumacher feels like a very smart manager.
Yeah, you just roll with him.
He said,
Skip
said after the game, seeing Sandy on the other side too many times, it was a treat to not only during the game, but in the 4 days he prepares. Just watching him is just the greatest. Watching him prepare, watching him on the mound.
Now, it's tough because he lost his first game in Skip's debut. Lizardo went out and got a win for Skip the next day, and then they've lost a couple since. They're 2-4, I think, somewhere around where, you know,
pretty
the
much every
Astros
team
are.
is between 4-2 and 2-4 right now this season.
But I mean, how nice for a manager to be able to every fifth day go, all right, I got a really good chance
You're
of
a
winning this game.
bullpen pitcher. You're like, this
Yeah, you get hammered the night before, knowing they're probably not going to need you.
Last year there were 36 complete games
He
in
had
baseball.
6.
He had 6 of them.
He's a stud, and he is appointment viewing. And I knew he was pitching yesterday, and I watched the last 6 innings of that game. Watching him pitch it's revolutionary. It's unbelievable.
There right now are only 6 teams in baseball that aren't either 4-2, 3-3, 2-4, 3-2, or 2-3. Almost every team is somewhere in that
middle.
Yeah. We have the 4-1 Brewers, the 4-1 Braves, the 4-1 Twins, the 5-0 Rays, and then the 1-4 Phillies and Nationals are the only teams outside that very tightly bunched group.
Oh, kudos, by the way. I don't know if you're going to do this, but Matt Strom yesterday pitched against the Yankees and pitched really, really well.
4 innings, 1 hit.
Yeah, it didn't go deep,
runs.
but, converted reliever.
Yeah,
right? They
converted
can't have been
reliever.
expecting 7 or 8
He
innings.
threw like 60, 65 pitches.
Yeah, got them in line for their first win of the season. So kudos to our pal Matt Strom. Well done out there in a new role for the Phillies.
I saw a GIF yesterday, retweeted some sort of Phillies blog or podcast. They said Matt Strom yelling at himself to keep the ball down. I like him. I think they're going to like him in Philly. And
he seems like a Philly guy.
He goes, keep the ball down, screaming at himself.
He's great.
Love that guy. All right, and then finally, egg prices are still high.
Yes,
very pricey, and that could present a problem for Easter coming up. And Potatoes USA is trying to take advantage of that.
Potatoes USA.
They're hyping up potatoes as a replacement for eggs for your coloring, your dyeing, your painting.
You know
this
what?
Weekend.
Now that I think about it, a lot of those eggs just get thrown away.
I think most.
I mean, some get turned into deviled eggs, which
You hard boil the eggs and then you paint them.
Then you,
and they've been sitting outside all night, and you just feel like till the Easter Bunny hides them. So, do you really want to eat those eggs later?
That would look weird, though. It would look weird. You're used to seeing a basket of eggs or something.
It's like a new potato, like a smaller one.
Oh yeah, new potatoes.
New potatoes.
Will they die? Do you have to peel them?
Those plastic eggs aren't great for the environment.
No, we would never
buy new ones every single year and then throw them away. You would never do that.
We would never do
at the Woods household.
Never. Not my wife. No chance. 0 chance.
I guess you'd have to.
Lauren Nancaro's daughter? No.
You'd have to skin the potato first, right? So that it's got like
do you skin it?
The light
Oh,
background.
yeah. You skin it. No, that's a pain in the butt.
Who wants to
but then
peel
you dye
potatoes?
the milky flesh of the potato.
Things that we do for our children. This is just astounding. I had a request last night to make 2 separate lunches. And I told my wife, again, I'm not a short order cook. This isn't a diner. Taylor doesn't like sandwiches.
I didn't like sandwiches growing up.
He's
either.
gonna have to get over it. What do you want? So what I do? I made 2 separate lunches.
You didn't like sandwiches?
I didn't like sandwiches.
As much
until
as
I
you
became
like
an adult.
sandwiches
I love
now?
sandwiches now.
What did you eat when you were a kid at school?
I just had it all separated. I liked the little lunch meat and some.
Oh, you ate Lunchables.
Yeah, Lunchables. I just liked it. I didn't like food touching food. I didn't like the mixture of
both my kids are
different things together.
Both of them.
And then I realized later in life, food mixing with food is like one of the great pleasures
It's
of life.
so
But
delicious.
Now I'll just put everything in a big pile in
Yeah,
the middle of the
I like to
plate.
NutriBullet mine and just drink it. That's how I do it now. Thank you, Paulie.
You are welcome.
It's a handy tip for all of you
Potatoes.
Easter folk out there.
How much are potatoes nowadays? Are potatoes
Cheaper. They're cheaper.
rising in price?
Cheaper than eggs for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eggs are very valuable. Very valuable. I eat a lot of eggs, so I don't want anybody dying my eggs.
Good protein, good source of protein.
Excellent source of protein.
Potatoes. No
Yeah.
offense to potatoes, but they're
Well, they're my favorite,
kinda
but they're
empty
not-
calories
not
for
good
you.
for
They're
you.
not- yeah.
Yeah.
They're one of those vegetables that don't really count, unfortunately. Sadly, don't count toward your vegetable consumption.
Correct.
At the end of the day. All right. Good job, Paulie Reindl. We only have 40 more minutes to go in studio this week, and then out to the Ben and Woods Open tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Can take some more calls if you want to talk about Manny Machado's ejection yesterday and the pitch clock rules. The first real kind of disaster of a game involving the pitch clock rules, I would say, yesterday with the Padres. Give us a call, 833-288-0973. We'll be back after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Baseball season is here. Live coverage of every Padres game is available on 97.3 The Fan through the Odyssey app. Wherever you are in the San Diego area, you can listen to every pitch of every Padres game on Odyssey. Download the free Odyssey app. Search 97.3 The Fan to get started.
See that? You read it. You didn't get fancy, and you knocked it out of the park.
No game today. First time this season.
Off day.
We have an off day to live through until tomorrow, I believe at 4:20, when the Padres will resume their season.
The off-day shenanigans
against the Atlanta Braves, weather permitting.
The off-day shenanigans of this fan base will never cease to amaze me. I'm glad I will be playing golf, stuffing bags for clients and tier ones, and out of it entirely.
Kind of a big series, though.
Yeah,
coming up, for big road trip coming up for the Padres with a trip to Atlanta to face a team that everyone agrees is certainly one of the contenders in the National League, in the Braves, and then off to New York to rematch with the Mets from your National League wildcard series last year. A couple pitching matchups. Things could change early in the season, but Blake Snell scheduled to go tomorrow against Spencer Strider. And then I got Nick Martinez against Undecided on Friday for the Atlanta Braves.
He's good.
Undecided. Yeah. I get a lot of undecideds for the Braves. Actually, I don't have a listing for the Braves at all after the Spencer Strider opening, but Padres are going Snell, Martinez, Waka, Lugo in the series against the Atlanta Braves.
Okay.
They would be in line to hit Max Scherzer on Monday in New York. Now, Scherzer got lit up.
He got smoked yesterday.
In his second start of the year. So, I mean, Padres got to him in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's a beatable guy. So it doesn't hold the same cachet that it once did, but he's still you'd rather have him on your team than not. Certainly, if you're the Mets, and but you're not scared of him like you maybe were 5-6 years ago. He's just a guy. I mean, he's better than just a guy. But you've beaten him before. You saw him get roughed up yesterday by the Brewers. So yeah, let's take it to him. Get him early. Get him early before he settles in on the season. You don't want to be the team that he gets it going against.
And then weather-wise, I know you mentioned the possibility of rain at the Masters. I also heard the same, which means rain is certainly a possibility in the forecast for Atlanta. Now, I heard some of the good news in the Masters was that a lot of the rain could be overnight. That doesn't necessarily help night games for the Padres. The biggest chance, according to the forecast right now, though, is 98% on Saturday in the Atlanta area for rain.
98%.
98% chance of rain on Saturday in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Let's see. Jed called
Is
in.
it still hot out there?
Wants to talk a little Padres.
No, it's rainy.
7-3 The Fan. Hello, Jed. It's both hot and rainy. It's
hot
86 today, 83 tomorrow. Then it drops down to 51 by Saturday with the rain.
Hi, Jed.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Pretty good. Be a little bit better if we're 4-2 on this off day, but
yes.
It's early in the season. If anybody's pushing the panic button, please stop. It's way too early for that, but it may be time to start assessing a few bullpen pieces. But I really was calling to talk about the Manny Machado ejection. I think that is just ridiculous, especially this early in the season with a new rule. I mean, probably a lot of those fans at the game, it was their first Padre game of the year, and they got to see Machado for one at bat. That's a disgrace. And then also, I've seen a few times if a pitcher comes set too early, they give him a warning before they give him a ball or a balk. I think there needs to be something like that on the hitter side. Maybe give each team one warning, and then after that, it's a strike or something. But that's just way too ridiculous in the first inning of a ball game.
You're right. And somebody made the point earlier about Machado was in spring training for a week, and then they all left for the WBC. Machado is not your notorious
Adam Jones.
Is Adam Jones. It's not notorious. He's not notoriously a guy that is running up to the box and ready to hit. And again, it's how these guys have been doing it their whole lives. And to come in and say, hey, you got a week in spring training to figure it out, and you're going to go to the WBC, which, by the way, they have the old rules, right? Those are the old rules that you're used to and you've been playing with since you've been, 6 years old. Now, Manny, we need you to be in and be ready. Adam Jones was talking about, hey, man, I was talking to CC Sabathia And I'm like, bro, 2 strikes, 7th inning, runner on third. I need to get him in. I need a moment. And you're just not going to get it.
I don't mind making guys adjust a little bit. I mean,
Sure.
that's part of life.
Sports
You
and
have
life,
to-
yeah.
You have to adjust sometimes, whether it's to a new rule or changing situations. And part of being a great athlete is showing the ability to adjust. At the same time, we talked about this earlier. We like the pace. We like the faster game times. We don't want necessarily the outcome to be affected by these violations, though. So how do you keep the spirit and the intent of the rule there without enforcing it as much? And I thought the best idea that we kind of bandied about would be a warning of like a technical foul in basketball, kind of like is your first warning before you get thrown out.
Or even assess that timeout that you're granted that Manny was not able to get yesterday.
A batter gets a timeout assessed. Essentially, that's your warning right there. Next time, it'll be a strike on you. That's a violation. For the pitcher, I wouldn't mind one an inning if they, have a pitch comm issue and, the clock gets down to 3, 2, 1. If they know they've got that one, they don't have to rush it. They just say, you know what, I'm taking my warning right here. And how many would we have this season in baseball? My guess would be that if they implemented a 1 warning per inning system, we would have 0 violations and the games would be almost exactly as fast as they had been so far. That what are we adding? Maybe 30 seconds to games from the 30 minutes we've cut off. I think that would be a good trade-off to eliminate the violations almost entirely by just adding a warning per inning for each team and not lose any of the benefits that you've gotten from the game.
Well, and the other thing it does is it de-escalates any sort of situation. And I know that there's a lot of umpires out there, which is a big problem. They don't like to de-escalate situations. Umpires these days are notorious for escalating situations. When you rip your mask off and you storm towards a dugout, that is the definition of escalating a situation. An umpire's job is not to fight.
I'd be a good umpire. I love de-escalating situations.
I'd be a terrible umpire. Terrible.
And I've got a fairly thick skin
for
when people are talking to me.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you're emotional. It's fine. I'll take it right now.
You'd be so good at umpiring. I would not. And I said it yesterday. I don't have the temperament for it. There's no way. But I'm also not trying to be an umpire. So it de-escalates.
You might have trouble paying attention for the entire game.
Oh, God. He's on his phone.
Yeah.
In the middle of an inning.
Especially if I'm out like at second base. I mean, what are the chances?
Sending off
plays
tweets.
coming to me out here. Come on.
You
sitting there. I haven't called anything in like 3 innings.
You at
kinda
third
boring,
would
guys.
be the worst. Now, first, you have to be locked in.
First home plate for sure.
Second, you really need to watch your lips because there's going to be balls screaming at you the whole time. Third, you need to be aware that they're going to rip one down the line. But there's not a ton of calls other than fair or foul, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe the occasional play at third.
Yeah.
Did he step on the base?
Very
Is he
rare.
rounded?
I wonder
Did he tag up on time?
Umpires are being honest. Do they prefer the day at third when they're kind of not doing much, or do they like to be the home plate guy when they're every single play? They got a ball or a strike, and they're the guy who's in charge of the whole game. Which one do they prefer more?
I wonder if first base is nauseating too, because those plays are bang bang to the naked eye. You're like, oh, dude, he's wasting.
I get almost all of them right from the press box.
God, I don't.
I am really good,
I'm
even from the
not.
press box. I'm always stunned. I go, no, he was out. They're always a little more out than you think.
Yeah,
but I've gotten
When
gotten
in
used
doubt,
to it
call 'em
enough.
out.
When in doubt, call them out is usually the right way to go when I'm calling it from a distance. And I'm surprised that right away I know, oh no, they got that one wrong.
Yeah.
It's like I'm way farther away than you are.
I just hope that Rob Manfred is happy because now your umpires are truly the stars of the game. Bo was very mad at me that I didn't pull him out of school yesterday. He said, Dad, more than anything, I want to watch Ron Kulpa umpire this game. And I said, no, son, you have to stay in school. School is important. I'm not pulling you out to go see Ron umpire. You'll have your chances.
All guests on Ben and Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Still have some callers on the line. 833-288-0973. Get to those and wrap things up on a Wednesday. Coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So, Paul, you put in for your day off Friday. Me and Ben did not. Forgot.
Get with it.
Guess we have to work. You're supposed to remind us.
Remind you?
Kiss ass. Adam's like, nice work, Paul. You got yours in. Ben Wood still waiting on yours.
It's weird because
I did the one thing we need to do to
take a day off. Because we have that weird flexible day off vacation policy here now.
Whenever you want.
Whenever you want. Free to take vacation.
Can somebody do? I don't know how to do it.
I'll show
I
you.
really don't.
I will show
There's
you.
a new
We can go
system.
through it during this next segment. It'll be
Do it on the air for everyone.
Fascinating radio for everybody. All right, go to Odyssey. Here we go to this website, our intranet at work, and then I'll show you exactly where to go to link it up. First, I'll tell everybody you can listen to 97.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to Legoland. You take a day off and go to Legoland if you want it. Every hour you listen now through April 16th equals 1 entry in the contest. Awesome awaits at Legoland California Resort. Check out their newest edition, Miniland San Diego, featuring a replica of Petco Park. Tickets are available at legoland.com/California.
Oh, quickly here. Did not know this when we spoke to him yesterday. Happy birthday to Jesse Agler, the Incorporator. Happy birthday.
Today is the day?
Today is the day.
Happy birthday, Jesse.
One of our favorite human beings alive. Probably listening live in Atlanta right now.
I would assume so.
I mean, guaranteed.
Probably watching on YouTube. Hi, Jesse.
Hi, Jesse. Love you, buddy.
All right, we'll come back. We've got a few more phone calls to get through, and we will check traffic one more time here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Buick GMC of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Denick.
Traffic is sponsored by Insperity. Got a few trouble spots here, guys. We're northbound side of the 805, just before Balboa. A collision looks like that's been cleared over the right shoulder. On the southbound side of the 163, just past the 15. Stalled car in the right lane. And westbound side of the 8, just past the 163. Collision involving a couple vehicles. That is over to the right shoulder. Keep in mind, you've now got the westbound lanes of the 78 open, at least the 2 right lanes between College and El Camino Real. That left lane remains closed. And same situation on the eastbound side, although they will be closing that whole freeway between El Camino Real and College this afternoon's commute. Just brace yourself for that. But yeah, left lane block, 2 right lanes remain open east and westbound side. Providing scalable HR services, access to better benefits, payroll, and HR technology for over 35 years, Insperity's mission is to help businesses succeed so communities prosper. Insperity, HR that makes a difference. Visit Insperity.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's go back out to our phones here this morning. We got Taylor in Mission Valley hanging on. Taylor, good morning. Welcome to Ben & Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to reflect on everything over this past weekend. What a great time to be a San Diego sports fan. My friends went to the Elite Eight. Me and my friends, we went to the Elite Eight watch party at Viejas Arena. And as soon as they won against Creighton, we ran onto the court, and I turned to my friend and I'm like, dude, we have to go to Houston. It's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And as a Padres season ticket holder, I exchanged my opening series game. I mean, it's a small sacrifice, but I was just when I went to the game, the Final Four games of the national championship, one thing that really stuck out to me was I was just so happy to see how many Aztec fans showed up in Houston, like outnumbering all the other team fans, and also watching all the excitement of all the fans that are, watching the Aztecs play and get as far as they did back home. It was a big unifying moment. And I mean, what a moment overall. I just wanted to take a moment to just, as a fan of all San Diego sports teams, and born and raised San Diegan, just how proud I am of the Aztecs and the amazing season and all that they accomplished.
Taylor, that is awesome. I was surprised a little bit by how many, not necessarily Aztecs fans, but how many like students were wild and crazy, behind the cameras there when they did the pregame show. And then I heard later that
it looked like the school did a really good job of getting current students out there.
Yeah,
travel packages.
They had
stuff.
and they even gave them like $500 credit. They used, I don't know, it was the student body funds or whatever. They had the rainy day fund that they credited people if they wanted to fly to Houston to go support the team. $500, which is it's not nothing there. That was pretty significant contribution by San Diego State, but it made it look really good out there at the Final Four. Like, hey, Aztecs are a big time program with a big time fan base, and you can expect to see us here again in the near future.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think, obviously he's an alum, and Paulie's an alum, and me as somebody that's not an alum and really not the world's biggest basketball fan by any stretch, and trying to kind of have to twist my arm those early games in the season. Ben, you know what you're not gonna have to do next year? Twist my arm to watch some of those early games in the season. I'm very interested. I'm very bought in, and it's weird. Like, we are, I think, as a society, such a show me society. All right, show me what you can do, and then maybe I'll buy in. I think San Diego, we're pretty notorious for that here, and I think that's okay. I mean, but now I'm way interested. I'm interested to see what they do recruiting wise, how this all plays out after what was such a legendary run that had people like me glued to their televisions, screaming at the TV, jumping up and down. Very, very cool.
Well, if you want to get into basketball, what if I told you there was a game tonight between two teams with identical 41-38 records? The winner will have a solid playoff spot in the West. The other will be stuck in the play-in tournament. And I'm, of course, talking about the Clippers and the Lakers meeting tonight in LA after the Lakers won in overtime over the Jazz last night. How exciting does that sound to you, Woods?
Yeah, I
New
mean,
basketball fan that you are over there.
You, Dave Roberts, Matt Kemp, Cody Bellinger, even though he's in Chicago now. Maybe
would you rather
he's
be
excited.
a Clippers fan?
Yeah, all those cats. Justin Turner, stoked.
Golden State Warriors won last night. They're a half game ahead of both the Clippers and the Lakers. What a race.
When's this over?
They have 3 games left in the regular season.
Okay, that's pretty interesting.
And then the playoffs start.
Now, what's the situation on your beloved
so they
Los
are,
Angeles
they're
Lakers?
currently tied for 6th in the Western Conference with the Clippers.
7 make it?
The top 6 make it outright into the playoffs. 7 through 10 go into the playoff tournament. With,
so
7,
juicy game tonight.
7 plays 8. The winner goes to the playoffs. 9 plays 10.
Okay.
The winner then plays the loser of the 7-8 game for the last playoff spot. So you'd like to stay out of the play-in tournament entirely, but it helps to be 7th if you're going to be in the play-in tournament, because you get a home game or 2 to just win once to get into the postseason. But the Lakers, after winning 7 of their last 8, could actually climb completely out of the play-in tournament with a win over the Clippers tonight, and maybe could even pass the Golden State Warriors, get up to the 5th seed, which right now would be against the Phoenix Suns, which is not necessarily the greatest spot to be, going up against Durant and the Suns in the first round. The 6th seed would play Sacramento in the first round of the NBA's Western Conference playoffs.
Well, congratulations to you and Sandy Koufax. Okay, I know you guys are very excited. Congrats.
Is it weird that when I was growing up, I always thought Sandy Koufax had died? Like, for many years, probably like 15 or 20 years. I thought,
is he still? I think
yes,
he's still alive
today.
Scared me to death.
Yet I thought probably 35 years ago, no, Sandy Koufax, he
long gone.
Had a short career.
Yeah, because
he died early.
I think it was the short career that got you, like, because it was very short.
Yeah.
It was like a lightning bolt.
And then he kind of disappeared. He's not a real public figure.
Mm-hmm. He's been out to spring training a couple
but he
times.
has. I mean, probably like 10 years ago. I saw.
By the way, he
him
looks better than we do now.
Oh,
He looks way better.
That's actually Sandy Koufax. He's alive and well. He looks good.
Still alive.
Looks really good.
Yeah, still alive. Congrats to the two of you. I know you'll be very happy.
Thank you.
With your Lakers and Magic and everything else.
Oh man. So tomorrow is going to be such a big day,
Huge
a fun
day. Yep.
We're going to be there all day long. If you aren't part of it, make sure you make plans. Hopefully next year we'll have another one of the Ben and Woods Opens. But if you are going to be there, should be a fairly epic day for you.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly nerve-wracking to throw a party of this magnitude. And but the tickets sold out, and that makes us very happy, and going to have a good crowd again. Tonight is going to be low key. We're going to be up there just hanging out, having a couple beers, watching whatever's on tonight. Maybe you can watch your beloved Lakers up there. I'm sure they'll have the game on. They have RBI, by the way, Rancho Bernardo Inn has such a cool area. They got great restaurants. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful facility, and I heard the course is in fantastic shape. We're about to find out in about an hour, and it just is going to be a blast. So come up tonight, get off work, have a beer with us, and then tomorrow, you can still come up and hang out tomorrow too. We tee off at 1 tomorrow, and then when we're done, we're going to be giving away the prizes and the raffle prizes and all that. So.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way. I think you have to be there to enter the raffle, but we've got some great raffle prizes for everybody coming up, and
prizes.
we're going to donate the proceeds are going to the Boys and Girls Club up in Carlsbad. But here are some of the raffle prizes that we've collected for the Ben and Woods Open tomorrow. We've got a foursome to sit in on our holiday and Christmas extravaganza.
Yep.
We've got co-host for a day on a date we agree to. If you win that one, you can come in and be a co-host with us. We've got some great golf prizes from our friends at Callaway, a custom Ben and Woods wedge, like with our logo on it. Is absolutely cool. Woods plans to steal it from the person who wins
I'll buy it.
But
you'll make some money.
We got a couple of Cobra drivers and putters to give away. We have 10 tickets to a Padres suite with a parking pass for the 4th of July game. We got 2 of those, so we split them up, right?
I don't think it's 4th of July. It's in June.
Oh, it says July 4th on my list, but it's in June. Never mind. My list is incorrect. We've got some great restaurant gift certificates, $100 from Bottle Rocket, $100 from Pacific Coast Grill. We've got some Regal Seagull merchandise and gift certificates as well. I got a wetsuit from XL that Shelly, one of our friends, donated up to a $584 value. Pick one that fits for you, which is really cool.
Will you model said wetsuit?
Paulie got Ponce's,
no.
which is a great restaurant.
He said no.
Ben, are you going to model the wetsuit?
Can you model the wetsuit?
I wore a wetsuit once in my life. It didn't go well. I was young and I actually fit, and it still didn't go well.
I want to try it on.
We've got an Encinitas bar hopping package with merchandise and gift cards from Leucadian and First Street Bar and Grill. We've got Ponce's tote bag with a bottle of Maestro de Bel tequila, shirt, hat, $100 gift card, subs for a year from Jersey Mike's. Link Soul and Goat Hill Park have donated $100 gift card from Link Soul, a foursome at Goat Hill Park. And I think we got a few others. Dinner at the Veranda Restaurant at RBI.
So good.
I mean, we got some really cool prizes that were donated, and a really thank you to everyone who stepped up, donated prizes, and everyone who's going to come out and buy those raffle tickets and help support the cause and support the charity for our Ben and Woods Open.
And just a reminder, we're going to be on from 6 to 8 tomorrow. So you're going to get 2 hours. We're going to jam pack it all in. You can probably do your Lakers Clippers recap that I can already see you working on in your head.
There's no Padres game.
There's no Padre game tonight. It's an off day. Mind your P's and Q's
There's
out
a full day of baseball today. I assume,
baseball.
Padres are off. I wonder if it's a fairly light schedule in Major League Baseball. It's not. In fact, Padres are one of the only teams that are off today in Major League Baseball.
You've got some pure bangers on the schedule, Benny. Chicago at Cincinnati. You got Marcus Stroman against Hunter Green. Aaron Nola against Garrett Cole. Phillies.
We're getting
and
around
Yankees.
to the second time through the rotation, top of the rotation guys again.
Yeah, today's going to be really solid. The Logan Webb against Dylan Cease matchup, White Sox Giants, is really solid.
Shohei night.
Shohei is on the bump tonight against Chris Flexen. Really good. Alec Manoah against Zach Greinke is an interesting matchup. Did you guys hear the comments from Verdugo? Boston's Alex Verdugo about Alec Manoah yesterday.
No,
literally fighting words. Like I don't like that dude. I don't like how he goes about his business. He's always celebrating. I think it's horse ass. Alec Manoah came out after and said, "Oh, it's that guy. Oh, I don't give an ass." Just like that. I mean, he's an emotional
Toronto's
guy.
got a bit of a spicy team.
They are very spicy. And Alex Verdugo, I mean, he's pretty spicy himself. So it's good. This is good for the game. This is what you want when it comes to players sniping at each other. This is where it gets really, really good. It's already starting, man. You're already seeing this go down early in the season.
I know people got burned out quickly with Red Sox Yankees just all the time.
And
you still get a lot of Red Sox Yankees. It's not the same as it was like 20 years ago.
Bro, there's almost nothing
they
anymore.
were gonna fight every single time they played.
The Blue Jays now. The Blue Jays are the ones that Alec Manoah looks for a fight every time he takes them out. I mean, every single time. So those two teams already don't like each other. They're in the same division. It's going to be great. They're not playing today, but Manoah is on the bump taking on the Royals. But he's an interesting guy to watch pitch, and you got some superstars pitching today. Obviously, when Shohei goes, that's a big one.
Paulie, why don't you throw the topic wheel on for the last 2 minutes?
Yeah.
One spin.
While
you do that, I want to mention, because we were saying great Hall of Fame players who became good executives.
There's a couple we missed.
Very few. John Lynch, though.
John Lynch, Ozzie Newsome.
Definitely counts. Ozzie Newsome's a good one as well.
very tough question for this show. What's your favorite dessert?
Like favorite dessert.
I mean, I really love the banana cream pie. Had it again last night.
At some point, I would have said creme brulee. I haven't had a ton of creme brulee lately. I love bread pudding.
Ooh, bread pudding's
Really
delicious.
delicious. I've never had a peach ice cream sandwich, but we talked about them this morning. It might be my favorite dessert, even though I've never
had
tried it yet.
Oh, there's not too many I don't like. I don't really like cakes all that much.
I mean, I like cake.
I'll eat it but
I love like pies and crisps. So you get you always feel like you're missing out on the pie when you eat a cake.
I'm an apple crisp guy. Scoop of vanilla ice cream on
I
it.
just like when he looks at me and he goes, I love pies and crisps. Just like that. Lays me out. I too love pies and crisps. There's not too many desserts. I like a candy bar. I like a bag of Skittles. It's got sugar in it. I'm in. Like I'll eat. I have the worst sweet tooth.
All right, what dessert do you don't like?
There's
Like,
nothing.
There's got to be a dessert like no, thank you.
Mincemeat pie, is that a dessert?
No, that's a
I'll eat
savory
it.
dish.
But like,
I love like pies and crisps.
I don't know why it's so funny when he says
I don't like anything with coconut for dessert.
Oh, I love coconut.
Yeah, I know you do.
I could eat a bag of shredded coconut. Delicious. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. It's gonna be cold.
From Rancho Bernardo
Yes.
Inn,
Finally
bright and
here.
early at 6 a.m. The Ben and Woods Open is tomorrow. Should make for a lively day. For Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Coach John Quintera coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.